No, I'm not seeing anything. That's what I'm telling you
Oh.
though, because I've been playing on the YouTube.
Alright, are we... Oh,
Okay,
Julia.
now let's load.
Yo! Hey guys!
Okay, here we go.
Alright, we're on. Alright, awesome. Give me a quick second here, guys. Sorry, I have so many things going on all at once. It is wild. Alright, awesome. So, hello guys, I am here with Julia and also Scott.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, yeah, Julia joined, that's awesome. Okay, give me a quick second. We're
Our
on
first
this.
set.
Let's go here to...
He's early.
I know, she is a little early. It's okay though.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's all good, I guess. Yeah. All right. So anyways, yeah, guys, so we are going to be talking about POTSes because we've been doing this for about a year, and yeah, and we're just going to talk about stuff that we've done. We're also going to go ahead and watch some Bloodstained Men interviews that we took on the field. So super excited about that. And yes, let me see here.
So I have my my laptop, and I have my phone. So I'm looking at my phone. I have my laptop. So so if you were to show on the video, how would that work? I go on YouTube or?
No, like you're on air right now.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yes.
You're definitely on
Yeah,
air.
it's on your laptop. I think. Well, the one you're using for Discord, the one you use for YouTube, whatever you want to use, and you can watch both.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Give me a
Yeah.
second.
But you're gonna put it on so that we'll like a screen aside, that kind of like on Zoom, right? How it works.
No. This is live. Like right now, you're literally live. Like right now.
Yeah, we're all on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Right. But how are you gonna show the videos? Because I haven't seen these videos.
You're literally
Oh.
on air right now.
Which I think the videos that I filmed when I went to the Bloodstained Men
But we also have the Bloodstained Men videos.
demonstration, yeah. How you gonna play those? Are you gonna play them on YouTube?
Yeah, no, we got them already. They're on whatever it's called. It's on my computer.
Live stream.
Yeah. Give me a quick. Yeah, we're already having technical difficulties, but that's okay. Gosh, that's okay. Yeah. So, anyways, am I just completely gone? No, I'm not. I'm still here. Okay. So yeah, so this is our collection of videos right here. We have interviews with David Atkinson, Jake Indigo, Kareem, Zach Bell, and then there's another person that got interviewed. I don't know his name actually, but that's okay. We will figure it out. But first, before we get started in all of this, can you check the chat to make sure that we're all good and there's no problems? Like, does everyone be hearing us?
I can hear you on, from
I
YouTube.
can hear you fine.
Okay, good,
On
great.
YouTube.
Okay, fantastic. So the music's not too loud or anything?
Yeah, you may want to turn it about slow.
It's a bit, okay, too loud. See, this is why we check these things.
And your character looks real comfy and snuggied up in that big purple hoodie.
Heck yeah,
Wow.
perfect. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because this is
Oh yeah.
my time to relax and watch some videos. So obviously I am going to be all bundled up. And I actually have something just like this. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I get like a day off kind of, and I get to go watch videos because Scott did all the work today. Scott went and did all the interviews and stuff, and it was awesome. So I don't have to go ahead and actually interview people. So yeah, but before we begin, I want to talk about POTS just a little bit, just like really quickly. And I just have Julia on the screen, by the way. I do not have Scott on the screen. Hopefully you don't mind that, Scott.
No, I see.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, so what's crazy, so I looked at the amount of videos that we put out last year. We're at 331 videos. Granted, 87 of those are now private because I know people were complaining about the psychology and the finances. So we did get rid of that. But I will say though that we are coming up to like #1 in like YouTube videos. So we are putting in a lot of work, and that's just crazy that there's no Intactivist with over 1,000 videos. At least on YouTube. I'm sure Brother K has it on TikTok, but yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about this.
That's great. No, that's wonderful. And it's one video at a time, I guess. That's how you have been operating every.
Well, we've actually been putting out a lot of videos. I think we put out like 2-3 videos a week, I think. We used to put out videos every single day though, so that's kind of what happened with that. And then we just started scaling back a little bit. But yeah, I think it's crazy that the drop off between Brendan Murata and John Atkinson is quite a bit. It's like, because once you get rid of John Atkinson, most Intactivist groups put out like 50 videos. So I don't know, it's interesting. You would think there'd be more videos on this topic, but there's really not.
Well, I mean, like I said, there was videos once upon a time. I used to remember seeing like even like homemade videos of, you know, parents, regret moms putting out videos, and you don't see that anymore. I don't know what happened. I was thinking maybe there must be some sort of, maybe they just didn't feel comfortable themselves having the video. Who knows why?
Well, that's only one video though. Like even if they put it out, it might be like one video and then they're like, okay, I said my piece. Now it's time for me to do something else. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's true.
Yeah, there's not a lot of dedicated people towards making Intactivist videos. And I'm surprised that we even passed Truth Bomb, because Truth Bomb, he's been pumping out content. At least that's what it seems like. But I guess not as much as I thought originally. And also, didn't Bonobo, isn't he doing more off-topic subjects now?
Yeah, James Lowen. Yeah, he's. I know he talked to the transgender woman shapeshifter. Did an interview with him.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he's covering.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but I think Bonobo is doing a variety of videos, so I think that it's kind of. I wonder how many videos are off topic, you know? Like, I think that 545 is a little misleading. Yeah, so...
I think he's also talking about the, political movement.
Oh, he's talking about, like, politics in Canada, too? Wow, he's just doing a bunch of things, then, like...
And, yeah, infringing on people's rights a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Getting into that, too. Pretty important subject.
Yeah, Julia, have you seen any James Lowen's content before?
No, I was watching earlier today that was the Dr. Carter Stein. Yeah.
Doctor now?
Yes, I saw his video. I kind of, you know, I really related to it. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, because he was talking about how, you know, when you first learn about it, it's so polarizing, and you know, it's just, you know, it's you almost feel like you're kind of in a Twilight Zone series or something. You know, like it's a very intensely, you know, traumatic. You really take it in emotionally of what you've learned. You know? I think what happens is people go through I know what they call vicarious trauma, where which happens when you yourself are not being harmed in any way, but you perhaps witness someone being harmed, or you find out that someone is being harmed, and through that awareness, you yourself become traumatized, and so that's what he was talking about a little bit. He didn't mention as vicarious trauma, but that's essentially what it comes down to.
Isn't that kind of like whenever you see somebody who's like throwing up, but you're not sick, but you like throw up just because they're throwing up?
Yeah, kind of like, yes, it's sort of like a kind of a reaction. Like you kind of go through the motions of what they're. It's very like it's basically a form of empathy. Really, you're kind of going through what they're going. You're putting yourself in their shoes, and you're feeling it out. You're feeling the whole situation, and you're putting yourself there, and through that, you know, you experience what is happening, what you're witnessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting to know. Okay. So yeah, but I just wanted to show this YouTube chart though, just to show people like that I think we're gonna be #1 in YouTube videos here soon. But yeah, sorry not to change the subject too much.
No.
But yeah. Yeah. Also, back to this chart. I've added all the intactivist groups onto this chart here. So now we have an actual stance. Our goal at POTS is to be in the top 10 next year. So I don't know if you guys can see those numbers on the screen, or is that like blurry for you guys?
But yeah.
I don't see any numbers. I just see the three, you know, like I just see myself and Scott and you.
Oh, there we go.
It takes a while to change over because it's like live streaming, so this is why.
It's pretty small, hard to read, but okay.
Okay, is it
Yeah,
hard to read?
It's made a little bigger. It helps.
Okay.
In the top next year. So I don't know if you guys can see those numbers on the screen, or is that like blurry for you guys?
Oh, also, yeah, when you guys are on Discord, it like it's instant. On YouTube, it lags a little bit, so that's probably why you guys didn't see the numbers, and now you're seeing them.
No, this is pretty small, hard to read, but okay.
Okay, is it hard to read?
Is anyone watching this yet?
I don't know. Let me see. I would have to go check my. Well, it's recorded anyway, so if somebody misses it, they can go and rewatch it. So it's all good, even if. And also, the analytics aren't exactly amazing because obviously you and Julia are watching this, so it's not gonna like report everybody who watches it. But I'm not sure. I do know we definitely had quite a few people who went ahead and spread this, so I definitely think so. So yeah.
Go check. Well, it's recorded anyway, so if somebody misses it, they can go.
Yeah. Also, can you like lower your like computer volume because it's like feedbacking or looping back?
So.
Me?
No, I don't think it's you. I think it's whose is
There.
it? Okay, I think that's better. Yeah, because I just kept getting like voice back. Okay, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we just we're aiming to be top 10. So that is what? Oh, we just have to get like what 700 subs to be top 10 next year. Do you think that's likely there, Scott? That we're gonna be able to make that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So we also do have lots of brand new things coming out too, brand new interviews and stuff like that. So that's gonna be really awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna keep that going, but like this is gonna be like the last episode, I guess, for the interviews. So we're gonna probably pick it up in 2 months from now. But without further ado, I guess we can go ahead and watch some Bloodstained Men videos, which I'm super excited about. But before I actually begin that, so Scott, you went and you interviewed the Bloodstained Men, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how was it being on the field and actually interviewing them?
It was all right. You know, they were busy. Some of them wanted to talk, and some didn't wanted to talk on video, and some didn't want to talk on video. They would talk still just off video.
Okay,
And
so
they,
was there
shared
any
the-
like big Bloodstained Men members that were like should be on video? Like, who did you all ask? I guess who did you ask, and who said yes and who said no?
Daniel Bryce said no. Luke Artanis said no. Jake Indigo said yes. Zach Bell said yes. Kareem said yes. There's a few other people who would show up, but I didn't remember their names. I guess they knew Bloodstained Men. Some of them even had some shirts, you know, general mutilation's wrong or something like that, or is a violation of human rights, shirts like that. So they knew they were familiar with the movement.
Okay.
And Brother K didn't have time. He was usually live streaming, so I didn't want to try to interrupt him during that.
What?
So
He was live streaming? Like, does he live stream the whole thing?
Yeah. Most of it, I think. There's quite a bit of it.
Like,
Yeah.
when he protests, he just has like a continuous camera going on when he goes on tour.
Through the most of it. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So I'm just imagining him with like a selfie stick. Is that what he does? Does he have like a selfie stick just recording him constantly? Like,
He's recording the other members, or live streaming them.
okay. I was about to say that's interesting. I don't
Yeah, not
know.
himself. Well, he also does himself. He says a few words, but most of the footage is the other members of the group that he puts live streaming on the internet.
Okay. But that's still weird though. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like because when he engages with the public and he talks to people in the public, he has all that on video.
I think he does. Yeah.
Okay, so when you were talking, so have you talked to Brother K while you were there?
Yes.
So he has that on video.
I don't think he got that on video. But quite often when he wants an interview, when he wants to talk to the person, he gets that video on him. While the other members is talking, if he's close, he'll film that, live stream it. He walks around with the camera and just live streaming everything, pointing at it.
Okay, so did he accept an? So he didn't accept an interview from you though, right?
No.
Okay, but did he say why no?
Didn't really. I think he said he kind of like only had. He said he only had to about pots. But he didn't. Really
I can't hear you.
He didn't really want to go into detail about why he was not too interested in speaking to a POTS representative, and also he didn't like that he didn't know your name.
Okay, that's so interesting. But like, I mean, does he ask people's names whenever they go up to interview him? Like when there's like a reporter, or is he like, hey, what's your guys' names? Like, I need to know.
I
like
doubt that. Yeah, I doubt he asked the reporters their names.
That's so interesting. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Julio?
He, because he doesn't know your name, that he felt like he didn't want to interview you, or is that what was going on? Because I had a hard time hearing.
He knows me. He's met me before, but he doesn't know the POTS guy. He's like, well, who are you working with, POTS? Who are the POTS guys? And I'm like, well, we're other activists. We meet up on the internet at that person. Well, who are they? Who are these people? I said, I don't know. That's all I can tell you. That's all I know.
Why didn't you just say you're him? Be like, yo, I'm Scott, and I am with him. So you're talking to Scott, like right now. Hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Well, he knew that. I mean, I've met him several times. I've met him years ago. So he's familiar with me. He knows. He sees me. He knows who I am.
So then why does it matter? Because he knows you. So if he knows you enough, like why?
Right.
That's bizarre. That's a very bizarre reasoning.
I mean, that may not have been the real reason, But yeah, that was his answer as well. I don't want to talk to you if you're working with just some anonymous people. Okay then.
Okay, so that's concerning. I mean, at least to me, I think that's concerning. But I don't know. So, Julia, what are your thoughts? I'm sorry, I think you got cut off.
Well, maybe so you're so have you ever you've never met in person Brother K? I
We
mean, you
definitely
interviewed with him,
have
but
people who work there. I'm not gonna say yes or no to that, but we definitely have people who are willing to be flesh tubers that go out there, and that Brother K does know, like Scott, right? Because Scott obviously helps Potts quite a bit, and he knows Scott, so that's bizarre that Potts could be anybody, right? Obviously, Potts is you
The
guys,
way I
really.
know him.
Um,
Okay.
and the fact that he would
The
go
way I
and just
know him.
turn down an interview is so bizarre. Like, we could have had like 50,000 subscribers. Let's just pretend we did, because Brother K did not hear of Potts, right? Like, he doesn't know who Potts is at all.
well, there is a problem. Maybe that's maybe he didn't really. I don't know. Maybe he didn't know what is this about. Like what if he doesn't know what Potts is, then and he's never seen any of your videos, has he, or you don't know?
So that's up to debate, actually. That is a big debate question if he's seen our videos, because he's definitely, the Bloodstained Men and Brother K have definitely played our videos before. I think Scott has more to answer on that. If Scott can speak up a little bit louder, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Did you
did
explain
okay.
like,
So
what they were
did
gonna
Brother
do
K
with
see our
the-
videos or not?
Yeah, he's seen some of the interviews and he knows some of the people we've interviewed. And,
Okay.
yeah, as you know, like someone that I don't know who provided some of our videos to him that he used.
Did you tell him what you were gonna do with the interviews once it was there? Like maybe he was just wondering what
knows.
how it's gonna be on display. What is it gonna be reflective of? Maybe I don't know. Maybe that would have been it. Maybe he was kind of it sounds like he was suspicious or something. That's or he had like his doubts or something like that. That's how I'm getting the feeling from if he's like, oh, what's Potts, like that sounds like he's not that that sure, like he's not really secure with the possibility of being interviewed. Maybe I can't imagine why. He seems like he's always on Facebook, he's always on TikTok, filming everything, putting out his own videos. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine why he would want to turn down an interview with you guys. But
I told him that Prevailed Over the System is an activist news channel on YouTube, and that it would go on there.
Yeah, so I feel like we're giving him free publicity. Essentially, we gave him free publicity. Well, at least we offered it.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, just like NLI helped a lot with that too by sending reporters to him. Kind of, he didn't want that either as a strength.
Yeah, and I have a question, since actually Julia interviewed with Potts. So when you interviewed Julia, how bad was it? Was it scary? Did Potts scare you? Was it horrifying whenever you got interviewed?
I mean, the interview that you did with me.
Yeah, the interview that I did with you. Yes.
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I didn't expect the avatar, because I'd seen your videos, but it was interesting because like I'm not I've never been interviewed with for any kind of interactivist work, and especially online or through YouTube or what have you. So this was the first for me, but it was kind of almost felt like a Zoom meeting. This whole thing seems like I'm on Zoom or what have you. So, and I think it's a good setup.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I think you did well. I think you did really good on the interview, and I don't know. I almost feel like.
Like I said, I didn't have my stand like when I had the interview. I had this on a stand, before I didn't. I was holding my phone, so I wasn't, when I was watching the video, the interview. I noticed I was just like, I wasn't focused on the camera at all. So it's like I was all over the place, I was like here and there and so that I think was not the greatest, but I guess it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
I
done.
think you did good. I think you did good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also feel like POTS is almost like training wheels for most intactivists, because I know you were new. Well, actually, I didn't know this was your first interview, so congratulations on getting interviewed, first ever. That's
Yep.
awesome. But I didn't like. I feel like POTS is like training wheels. Like, if you're afraid to
Yeah.
do an interview with Prevail Over the System, why? Like, we're all on your side most of the time, right? Like, we're
Yeah.
here to help, and I feel like the news is more likely to twist what you say out of context. You know what I mean? Than POTS is. Like, that's just crazy. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Bloodstained. I mean, Brother K, really. I don't know, man. Brother K is interesting. But
Yes.
But luckily, though, we do have other interviews that luckily Scott got. So, all right. Let's go ahead. We're gonna start with David Atkinson. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stop the music real quick so we can go ahead and listen to this. Also, Scott, how was it actually asking questions?
I don't know.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, you feel like you did good?
Yeah. I would like to have more time, but yeah, it was good, and now that think about their answers, I would like to come up with more questions for it. I really want to know what's going to be the future of the bloodstained men, and how can they improve?
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping. I want to think about like how can they get a better strategy, because it's not good if the protesting is not accomplishing as much as they think it is, and they're just out there with no doubt about it, thinking it's great, making a big difference, when really it's not doing a whole lot. If that's the case, so I think we need some research, some statistics, something to see if it really matters, or if not, and what other methods are good to get through to the public.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually setting up to go ahead and watch the first one with David Atkinson, which I might have misspelled his name. You guys can't see it, so it's fine. Yeah, so this is David Atkinson. This is like the leader of Bloodstained Men currently. So I don't know, like, I haven't seen his videos. I have not seen his videos yet.
This is the second time I talked to him.
This is the second time you talked to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the issue is I have to go back and I have to reset it up, because like it takes about 2 minutes for me to set this up, because it's a separate window. But this is the second time you talk to him. We'll do the first time after this one. I guess.
That's cool. That's fine.
Okay.
Wait, just go.
Do what you gotta do.
All right. Let me know if you guys can hear this okay. And I'm gonna listen in as like I'm getting asked these questions / like how the interview did and how the interviewee did, because this is David Atkinson. So he's done interviews, right? Like, he's professional. Like, he's good at interviews. Yeah.
He's okay. Yeah. I mean, he likes to talk. Say that,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What, Julia?
Yeah, just like that.
Do you know the movie Partly Private?
No.
Have you ever heard of it?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was, I don't know what year. I think it was a few years. I think it was before American Circumcision came out, that with Brendan. But there was a movie called Partly Private, and that I was interviewed, but it wasn't filmed, so they edited that one out. But so now I take that back. I completely forgot about that one, but it's a good movie though. I don't know, I haven't seen it like on I don't know where you could get it. I haven't seen it like on Netflix or anything, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not so sure, but it was a pretty good one. Anyway.
Have you heard of the one called It's a Boy? I think it's a pretty old one though.
No, I don't know if you're asking me, but no, I don't really watch movies.
That's another good. I don't know where to find it, but anyway, that's another good educational one I've been told of.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go hit play on this, and then I'm gonna pause it. If you want me to pause it, just like, I don't know, tell me to pause it or something.
Is it the medical convention here? Yeah.
Okay, that's the medical convention? Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear this too. So it's also important that you guys can see if you can hear this.
So, tell us, what's going on in there today?
Well, we're the Bloodstained Men, and we're here protesting outside the Moscone Center in San Francisco. The OBGYNs are having their...
Can you guys hear this okay?
No, it's not playing.
No, I'm not seeing anything.
And then I'm gonna pause it. If you want to pause it, just like.
Nope, you guys can't hear it?
Is it the medical?
No.
Okay, that's the medical convention. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear this too. So it's also important.
Okay, nope, not at all. Okay.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay, so yeah, so it's a lag on YouTube, guys. So that's why I have to have...
Should I go on my laptop? Is there like a link on my laptop, or is there a link that I could go to, like a site?
Yeah, so it just go to YouTube and then go to streaming, and then it's gonna lag a little bit, and I guess I'll just let this play because yeah, whenever you stream something, there's like a 15-second delay, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's you. So okay, nope, not at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
so,
I
yeah,
think
so
you can
it's a lag
hear
on
through
YouTube, guys.
Scott's computer how it
Should
lags.
I go on my laptop? Is there like a link on my
All
laptop?
right,
Yeah.
well, we're ready. Just
Okay,
play.
you're ready. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, can you like kill the computer noise a little bit there, Scott, as well? I mean, everyone can hear it.
Why? Okay, I will, but
Yeah.
I can't hear them.
Okay, no, you're
video,
fine.
but-
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, that's a problem. Yeah. All right.
Once it starts
convention
playing,
here, and these are the penis cutters of American babies. Sometimes they're cut by pediatricians, sometimes OBGYNs. And we've been out here protesting all day. We arrived a little before 9 a.m. and we'll be here for a few more hours. It's already well into the afternoon. And early this morning, I talked to two doctors on their way in. The first one just said to me, we don't do that, that's the pediatricians, go protest them. Which is interesting, because when we do go protest the pediatricians, they don't say, well, don't blame us, it's the OBGYNs, go protest them. So it's like a finger-pointing blame game where nobody wants to accept responsibility for tampering with the genitals of perfectly healthy baby boys in the US. The second guy who talked to me said, were you guys in Austin 6 years ago? And I said, yes, we were at the ACOG convention in 2018. And he said, I'm with you. And then he said, I hate circumcising. He said, I'm with you. I hate doing circumcisions. And so first I thought, well, you've admitted that you're doing them, which means you're not with us, because if you were with us, you wouldn't be doing them at all. I didn't say all that. I just said, well, you don't have to. You can be a conscientious objector. By that time, he was walking away toward the entrance of the building, and he said, he looked over his shoulder and said, but I have to get paid. So sometimes you find an honest perpetrator who admits that he is
Money over values.
Yes, who admits that he is damaging children's genitals for a financial incentive, which is it's very disturbing, and that's why we have to protest here, because these doctors don't understand the value of the body part that they're destroying, or maybe.
All right. I have a question. So, yeah, so this is gonna lag really bad. So, my question is don't the Bloodstained Men have GoPros and stuff like that when they go out?
yeah, they got cameras. Yeah.
Okay, so they have cameras. So why didn't David Atkinson, if he had this whole conversation with this doctor, why did he not record it?
I don't know if he did or not.
Oh, well, that should be on Facebook. That should be 1,000,000% on Facebook. You know, like I feel like if you went
I hope
ahead
he did.
and this guy's like, oh, I just want to get paid, like, okay, whatever, like, baby, I'm mutilating babies, whatever, I need money, like, okay, like, why is that not on Facebook? Like, why is that not on Twitter? Why is that not on like, why did that not blow up? You know?
I'd like to ask, maybe he did film it. I don't know if he got video, but if he did, I'd want to see it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he said that he had this whole conversation, and it's like, okay, well, everything's being filmed here, so I don't know why you don't have that on film. Because I don't like the fact that he's kind of like telephone gaming what happened. Because if he has video, that's kind of good video to be like, hey, even doctors who are doing it know they're wrong. Like, hey, look, guys, like, I don't understand why that is not on their Twitter, because I've checked their Twitter and like they typically have like, oh, we got smogged attacked by a truck, oh, we got,
I've seen that.
yeah, and it's stuff like that, and it's like, wait a second, you're having doctors confessing and you don't have that on your Facebook or any social media. It's like, what are you doing? You know?
And like they typically have we got swamped. Yes. I agree. It's not. I've heard doctors say this before. Oh, I have to get paid, or the parents request this. You know, they kind of pin the blame on the parents. You know, and it's, you whenever I was doing this type of activism, the doctors, we were not video recording it at all. Nobody was video recording it. But you're right. It should be exposed more to the public. I even had I remember having a conversation with a doctor who said to me, she said, "Oh yeah, I remember really mutilating those babies. Ha 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 ha." And that would have been a perfect time to have it, but I had no idea she was going to say something like this to me. Like, it was just a very random, to type of a spur of the moment situation.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like one of the main points of Bloodstained Men is to show this kind of stuff happening. And it's just because instead of it being, because when the cameras are on them, obviously they're going to be like, oh, it's fine, right? Or whatever. But the thing is that when you have confessions like this that are important, that you're like, I don't know, that's just really annoying, because now it's, okay, well, he's just making it up. Like, that's so easy for anyone to say, like.
The other thing is that if people are aware that they're being recorded, they might not even say it. Maybe the doctor said that because he knew that he wasn't going to be, on camera. And I think that once you have a camera in front of somebody's face, then they're kind of either they're like, oh, put that camera away, or they don't say things that they know will upset the public. So
it's true, but you're allowed to record in public, and right now the Bloodstained Men, they're in public. So that's the thing that's interesting. Like, this whole problem with, like, I don't know, like with, oh, well, you have to consent to being recorded. Well, if you're in the middle of the street, you're allowed to record. Yeah, you're allowed to do these things. So it's not like you went to his office and you were secretly recording him. You're out and protesting. You have a GoPro on for your safety and for quality assurance, right? And just so happens that what you said was super unsafe and concerning. And you're like, wow, I feel like this is very threatening, and I feel like people should know about this. Like, you know what I mean? If this did happen, unfortunately, Scott said he has no idea if this even got on recording or not, like the actual doctor saying that.
I'd really like to be able to interview David Atkinson and ask him about these encounters and what he has on video, because it'd be really good to see it.
Yeah, instead of them just getting harassed and attacked by the public, like Bloodstained Men's like, look at us falling on our sword for you guys. It's like, we want results, man. We don't want to see you guys get beat up. Like, that just means that what you're doing is not working. You're not winning the public over. You're just making them mad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the people to hate the bloodstained men. That's not good. No,
Yeah.
I want the bloodstained men to be approachable. I want people to look at the bloodstained men and think, this is someone I can ask and get some information from. This is someone who will have a nice, peaceful conversation with me. Because I don't think there's a chance that they're going to change the doctors. You know, even the doctors say, "Oh, I don't like doing it, but I'm making money and I'll get my profit." Okay, they're not going to turn that doctor around. But it's the people who have the power if they stand against it. So that's who you want to win over. That's whose side you want to be on. So I want the bloodstained men to be popular, likable by the people.
I think you would win people over by showing that, look, like, doctors do not care about your son's health. Like, literally do not care. Like, they understand. Like, they know this isn't good. Supposedly, like, I don't know where this videotape is, so we're just taking David Atkinson's word on this, right? And I know Julia has similar encounters as well, but at the same time, it's like, if you're thinking as a non-intactivist wants to hear this on video, because you're bloodstained men, you have cameras on, you have GoPros, you're taking live streams, you're doing all this all the time. But yeah, it's kind of like trying to show like Bigfoot, and you're like, yo guys, Bigfoot's out there in the woods, I see him all the time, like, you have no idea. And then it's like, okay, well, where's the evidence of Bigfoot? You're like, oh, well, my camera just keeps dying, man, it's crazy, you know? And then people think you're nuts. Like, I don't know, I just...
but you get it on camera though, because the thing is that, like, you know, like I said, people, I think that, like you always, I mean, see people saying, "Oh, put that camera away," you know, you're not going to put me on Facebook, you know, they don't want, you know, you have to kind of get permission. Don't you have to get permission to film someone in a public forum? I think
not in public. I don't think so. No, because public, you're allowed to have it. GoPros, you're allowed to have it. There's people being filmed right now that are walking by that, you know, Scott's interviewing, and we didn't get their permission, because in public you're allowed to be surveyed. That's federal law. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. I mean, not legal advice, but...
Oh, okay. So in other words, what you're saying is that if it's in a public facility, you can't, but out in the street, you could.
Yeah, out in the street, absolutely. I mean, you're just like, you can't record phone conversations unless you tell them. Like, there's like a wiretapping law with that. But yeah, I mean, once again, I would do your research on this. Different states have different laws, but that should be something the bloodstained men should be focusing on, you know, because you want as much bang for your buck as possible. And how much did intactivists drop on this protest? You know, they probably dropped $10,000 maybe. What was it, like 8,000? How much was it? Do you remember?
Well, I don't know how much they spend.
I don't know.
Because I know they do GoFundMes. They do GoFundMes for like $7,000, plus they get paid like extra on the side. So I'd imagine this was like, I don't know, close to $10,000. And like, I think having a doctor say that on camera would have been worth every cent, you know, on top of what he was doing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, convincing the public that the doctors know that they're being harmful would pull people to the bloodstained men side, you know, because it's hard. I think it's hard for the people to think that the bloodstained men who are not doctors are more credible than the doctors on what's considered a medical issue. You know, so that right there, that evidence of doctors going, "Oh yeah, it's harmful, I hate it, there's no medical benefit, but hey, I'm getting paid," you know, saying something like that. Yeah, that'd be a win for intactivism.
Oh yeah, absolutely would be a giant win for intactivism. And I just literally the fact I hope he has that on camera. I mean, once again, somebody please go hit up bloodstained men and be like, where's that on recording? And if David Atkinson's like, oh, I don't know, be like, all right, good job. I'm glad you record everything. Great, good job. Do better next time. I'm gonna continue this video. It's gonna lag behind you guys a little bit. So sorry.
Some of them do, and they just would rather get paid to destroy that body part anyway. I don't know, but in general, it's been a great event. We've also gotten a lot of support from people who come out and say, like, we totally agree. So it's been a good day here at the convention center.
Do you think that this movement is as successful as it should be by now?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by should, but I would say that
I guess just in your opinion, has it gone as far as it could for as long
in a
as it's
sane
existed?
world, we would not even need to do this.
Well, yes,
and
that's
so,
true. Yes.
of course, all children should be protected from genital mutilation, and there are already plenty of laws on the books that could be used to enforce it. The question is, I guess, a matter of public awareness, and once a significant percentage of the population understands this issue, then it won't be as much of a problem anymore. But we have to get to that point. That's why Bloodstained Men is focused on public awareness, and there are a lot of other strategies and a lot of other great intactivist groups who are working on other strategies. And sometimes people ask me, like, do you do?
Question is, I guess,
All right. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna talk over the video for you guys. I know. So I feel like Scott asked a decent question, but did you see how David Atkinson almost avoided that question completely? That's a pretty good interviewee skill. You know, when you're getting interviewed, if you don't like the question, you kind of try and rephrase it. And that could just be me overthinking. What do you guys think?
So, okay, I think I may have had trouble watching part of it. It seemed like it was like not really live, or it was, I don't know. I think I may have missed that part
So
because I don't remember talking about like how he had spoken to the doctor, and the doctor just kind of told him, "Oh, well, I get paid," and that was it. That was as far as I watched, as far as the video goes.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you
Was
pause so you pause the video. When you pause the video, what happens is you don't keep up with the video when you pause the video.
Okay, that's what I missed out.
So yeah, okay, that makes sense. So essentially, what was said is Scott asked, "Hey, do you think this movement is as effective? Do you think it's as big as it should be as of right now?" And David Atkinson said, "Oh, well, in a sane world, we wouldn't have to do this." And so it definitely seemed like he ducked the question quite a bit there. And because I think at the end of the day, I don't know, I don't think he wants to answer it, you know. Scott, did you have any issues viewing that?
No, I watched it fine. Yeah.
Oh, you watched it fine? Okay, yeah. What do you think, Scott?
Well, yeah, he said that. I guess what I could have done to help with that is asked him to go into detail to say, like, do you think the success is moved along as far as you think it should have for as long as the movement has existed? Do you think that the circumcision rate has dropped as much as you think is a good amount? Now, I mean, isn't that up to opinion, you know? I mean, like, you could say, well, 10% in 5 years is pretty good, you know? Or other people be like, no, 10% 1 year is just good enough. We need to, you know, that's the bare minimum. So that's where the opinion come in. That's why I said in your opinion, because I really don't know how to measure that to say, okay, you know, like, this is how much progress you should have made in this much time. Yeah, this is, if we could go to all hospitals and ask the rates and get the real numbers and hopefully see them going down, you know, and then even in that case that they're going down, how do you know it's because of them? How much of it's because of them? I'm sure some of it's going to be, but there'd be other reasons too. And if you know those other reasons and say they're very effective, that's where we could also focus and try doing that sort of thing. I know one of them, though, as we said, is immigration from other countries that don't do this. So that's something we wouldn't get involved in, where we wouldn't encourage more people to immigrate. But we know that is one reason.
Why would you want to encourage people to immigrate, though? Because then they're going to a pro... Huh?
Right. But we know that that's one of the reasons that it's happening less.
Oh yeah, that's true.
In certain ways, but unfortunately, some immigrants do get pressured into it. You know, that's tragic too.
Yeah. No, and that's definitely true. But I feel like when you ask David Atkinson, like, how do you feel like the movement is progressing as much as you want? I think I don't know, I can understand how that's kind of a hard question for him to answer. And I also feel like, oh, like from an interview, because whenever you do an interview, sometimes it can kind of feel like chess. You kind of have to
Yeah.
gauge how he's gonna answer first, and how he's gonna move. And I think what he did here was he did answer you kind of. He avoided the question, but he did say words that sounded like, oh, well, we want this. And they said their wants, right? And they almost blamed it on society, not the bloodstained men. And they also, while also promoting intactivist groups. So I think that was a good answer, I think, for David Atkinson and a PR standpoint. And I think that's great because, I mean, that is the kind of answers you want him to give to reporters, if that makes sense. So I think here he did pretty good.
So it doesn't look like the bloodstained men are doing bad. Is that it? Like it's protecting the bloodstained men's reputation?
Well, yeah, of course. And you want that. Like, you want that. Like, you want it to look like, hey, we're doing good. There's plenty of groups. We got lots of backing. But me and you both know that these groups are like, bro, you got, like, Cockfight. And you got, like, Brahim. Okay, good job. So, like, we know that, okay, your backup is not all that much. And also, like, the groups are kind of dwindling. They're not growing. But I think David Atkinson did answer very well in this situation. Because when you asked that question, what were you expecting when you said, how do you think the movement's doing and progressing? Like, what were you expecting him to say?
Some form of information. Like, okay, well, over the years, we've seen drops, or well, more people have joined us, or we've gotten an increasing amount of messages from parents saying, "Oh, we kept our boy intact," or even hearing that doctors are willing to talk to us in private and say how the system is, how it actually looks in the room, and how it disgusts them and they hate it, and why they get pressured, and the details of that situation, and how their career is involved in that, is affected.
Okay.
It's something more detailed. I was hoping to hear something pretty valuable there. Something that goes into the information about either like the amount of it happening, hopefully, evidence that it's dropping, and like David mentioned earlier, conscientious objectors in the medical field. Yeah, didn't get any of that, but I would hope to speak to him again. He would speak to, and we could ask. I would really love it if he did have stories like that, and more, the better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely. I don't know. I know, Julia, you kind of missed it. And keep in mind, this is a live stream, guys. So when you do live streams, like, this is Julia's first live stream. So congratulations on your first live stream, Julia. So it is a lot of moving pieces. So that is definitely hard. But if you go and you fast forward to where we are now and you just mute the volume and then you just turn it back on when I hit play, it's going to pick up exactly where you left off. So if you do that, you could follow along with us so you're not like lost, and just be like, what just happened? Yeah, because you scared me a little bit when you were like, dude, we're not live. I'm like, oh no, we're live. We have to be. But I'm gonna hit play. So Julia, are you ready? If you hit refresh, you should pick right up if you hit refresh on the thing.
Definitely hard, but if you go.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go hit play, right? Are you good, Julia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Legal advocacy or whatever, and my response then is that there are people in the intactivist movement attacking this issue from all angles. There's attorneys for the rights of the child. There's there's
Yeah.
nurses for the
That's
rights of the
ARC
child.
law, and then there's Galdas,
Yeah.
right?
There's Intaction doing Intaction is doing great
In New York, yeah.
great political advocacy, right? Legislative efforts, and so. Yeah, so we are focused on raising public awareness, but I'm always happy to hear about other organizations doing other great work.
What do you think of the idea of the bloodstained men researching the political candidates in the areas you go to, and for the ones who are very pro-human rights, who may stand with you on this, encouraging the people to vote for them?
So
Sound like a good idea?
I'm not entirely sure that it's legal for us to engage in political advocacy as a 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay.
I know that Intaction has created a different legal entity for the purpose of lobbying, which does not use their nonprofit funds. So we don't have such a entity set up, and so we're focused on raising public awareness, and we stay out of politics and we stay out of other issues. People sometimes ask us, take a position on some other issue, and
Like vaccines or something like that?
my response is always just we're not taking positions on issues other than the genital mutilation of young children.
All right.
All right, yeah. So I think he did really good. Me personally, I think David Atkinson did good. Yeah, I don't know. Where did you get that question from about him advocating for like legal things when you asked him that question?
Well, I made it up, but did you mean passing laws, or did you mean certain politicians
Well, no.
who would
Because
be
he is
friendly to the
correct.
cause?
Because he is correct. They cannot lobby. They cannot go and try and get people to vote a certain way.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that until he told me, but I thought it sounded like a pretty good idea, because of the legal system being helpful, right? And then there are other activist groups that do that. So I thought they could, but I guess with their status and how they do things, they're not allowed to.
Yeah. I think he I think he did really good. I mean, but keep in mind, like, I do think this is where they're in their elements. All right, like this is bloodstained men, home field advantage. They're out there, right? So I know that Scott might have asked a kind of an oddball question, but keep in mind, Potts's home field is cyberspace. All right, it is not in it is not out in the field. So I think.
So we're.
Well,
think
it was
that,
not supposed to sound like a weird question. It was meant to sound like something that maybe they never considered, and if they did think about it, perhaps could really help. That's what I wanted it to come across as.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do. Julia, any thoughts on that?
I don't really know much about the illegalities of the I don't really know much about that, so I can't really comment way.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I do have
did
part
that
two
last
up.
one go to the end?
Yeah, this is the first part. I mislabeled it. Sorry, somebody
Oh,
who
I
gave
know,
me all
but
these
the last one
videos just.
The last one we were watching, did that one go to the end?
Yeah, I went to the
Was that
end.
the end?
Yeah, it was only like 5
Was
minutes
the
long.
end?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this is part two. Well, part one technically of David Atkinson, not part two.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
perfect.
Communication in the POTS community is not the best sometimes. But we could always pick another one. But because we're just gonna give like samples and we're gonna talk over this. We're gonna release all this for like the public later, like back in like the season 2 interviews, so people can go ahead and watch this. I wonder when people watch interviews, do they like think about it like we think about it, or do they just like watch it blindly? Because I I like to think about my interviews whenever I watch them. You know, I don't know. How do you guys watch interviews typically?
Yeah. Okay. You see, think about it the way we think about it. Does that
Well,
mean?
no, like I'm wondering, like, so whenever I watch like an interview, like for instance, I watched like the Intaction video, right, that Anthony did, which I thought was very
Yeah.
good for like the purposes that he was doing. But however, I definitely had lots of questions about that interview. Did you guys, or the video? You guys watched the Intaction video, right? Like it was released 3 days ago, or no?
Uh, I haven't
Not
seen
get a
that
chance
one.
to see that, no.
I know
Okay.
about his campaign to lobby fundraising for
Okay, but you didn't watch it. But you didn't watch the video like 3 days ago.
passing the laws. Not that one.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, I don't know. Whenever I watch stuff like that, I like think and I'm like, interesting. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm POTS and other people are not POTS. But I don't like to just blindly like listen to things and then be like, oh, okay, that's great. I don't know. But this is part one. This is where you first meet David Atkinson. Yeah, these videos are awfully small. Like, do you only have like 4 or 5 minutes at a time to interview people there? Or did you talk a lot beforehand?
We talked a little before, but yeah, some of them they were quick because they didn't have a whole lot of questions. But another one, no, one video went on for over 20 minutes. But yeah, the majority, and I think our a little shorter. The Jake Indigo one was pretty. I think that went over 10 minutes.
We can play that for like 15 minutes. I think we'll do Jake Indigo because I do think David Atkinson. I think he is like really good at doing interviews. So is Jake Indigo? Is he like a Bloodstained Men like road crew member, or who is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Jake Indigo.
Hello, I'm Jake Indigo, and
Louder.
hello, I'm Jake Indigo, and
I thought that was you, like low key.
this is my third protest with the Bloodstained Men, and or my third tour with the Bloodstained Men. I've been protesting with them for several years, and yeah.
Okay. But you know of any other groups like Cockfight? You ever?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Okay. You ever worked with them or met them? You have any opinion on them?
No, but I think what they do is good. Any form of intactivism, like we need, the more the better, you know, like we need intactivists speaking up. Yeah.
Do you know how they operate?
I just know that they'll go to like college campuses or baseball game, like
Louder.
yeah. They'll go to college campuses or sports games, and yeah, they have big banners as well. And I think they're maybe a little bit geared towards that crowd more so, like the younger crowd.
College age.
Yeah, college age.
Yeah, right before they have kids.
Right.
So right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of the group Brokeem?
Yeah. Recently, it's a new group that came out. Jewish
Yes.
for Jewish people who choose not to
Yes.
circumcise their babies, so that they have a support system, I guess. To yeah.
Yes, that's right. They recently, I think Eliyahu did, he wrote up a contract to, I say somewhat, restrict like speech, things that intactivists can say and not say because they maybe consider it offensive to the Jewish people. Do you think that's a reasonable thing to agree to, or do you think that infringes on freedom of speech?
I think it infringes on freedom of speech. Like, yeah.
All right. Wow. That was interesting. Okay. Yeah. So I'm so curious on a couple things. Okay. So I don't know. As Scott, what were you going for with talking about Cockfight?
To compare the strategies.
Okay, but you didn't bring up bloodstained men or anything after. I don't think so.
No, that's how they
Okay.
do it, and I just wanted him to hopefully, express his opinion on targeting uh, people at sports events and college ones because they're at the age where they're soon be parents, and hopefully that he was going to tell me what he thought of that. And I suppose I could have asked, hey, so what do you think is better? Being out here and just seeing any random person, or going for a group of people who the majority are going to be within that age where they'll be having kids soon.
Yeah, I think that would have
What
been
do you
an
think is going to be
amazing
more
question to
effective?
ask Jake. That would have probably been better in my opinion. Julia, what do you think? If you were the
What was the
interview, if you were the interviewer, if you were interviewing, and you were talking about cockfight, how would of because you saw? Did you see the video, or are you still like lagged out?
I saw a little bit? I mean, up until they started talking about Jewish,
Okay, well we're talking about the
um,
cockfight section right now, so that's good.
right,
Um,
the cockfight. Like,
yeah,
yes,
because
I saw a little bit of it.
it seemed like Scott went from cockfight to Brahim. Like he just shifted gears like completely.
Yes.
Um, and I don't know.
Well, yeah,
How do you think Scott did there as an interviewer? I'm curious.
No, I think it was good. It's I mean, you brought out like what he's familiar with as far as cockfight, and just to see, what how he is, what he knows about each of these organizations and what they've been up to. So that's just that's good to know, like for the audience to sort of see how familiar he is with um other groups um and then I guess you were going to. I didn't catch the end of it. So you were going to ask him um, what he thought about the. 'Cause I didn't see the part with the Jewish. I just started watching
Yeah,
it, but then we put off. But yeah, no, it was good.
it was
It was
about
good.
like the pact. He was talking about the pact, and Jake Indigo said, "Oh no, I don't support signing any kind of Brahim pact for censorship."
Yes.
Yeah. So I understand the Brahim part. Like that I understand why Scott talked about that. I'm just confused about the shift. So like did you plan this at all, Scott, when you just interviewed people, or did you just go in like I'm just gonna go and questions are gonna come to me?
I had some questions written, and then other ones came up, and I've asked them along the way. Mostly it was written. The reason I moved on to the next question about the Brohim question after cockfight was because I thought we were kind of just done talking about cockfight.
You
But
talked about
now
cockfight
that we
about a minute.
discussed, yeah, yeah. I mean, now that we discussed it, I realized what else I could have asked. Be like, so what do you think is more an effective strategy, or do you think that the Bloodstained Men have anything to learn from cockfight? Do you think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the Bloodstained Men could I don't know, get some cockfight members to tour with them, or they could help cockfight out with some funding, or the Bloodstained Men could maybe take on some of the cockfight strategy, approach people the way cockfight does. Would that make the Bloodstained Men better? Yeah, those are questions I did not think of at the time. Now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking about it, and it would have kept that subject going, but it didn't last long because I didn't have that in mind. So I just moved on to the next question.
Yeah, I almost didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you set them up, like you were setting up for those questions, and then you just okay, Brahim.
Right. Yeah.
And I think once again, like this comes with experience, because I remember, being an interviewer, it takes time, to go and build that skill set, especially when you have cars in the background. You have, you have to kind of watch your back a little bit. I mean, you're talking to bloodstained men. I mean, they're not the most liked people in the whole world. Actually, we're running a poll right now in our Discord, and as of right now, the most divisive is bloodstained men out of all the groups. So, um, that's interesting. Um, so I do feel like that's probably running in the back of your mind too a little bit. Like, hey, like it's public. There's noise. I gotta hold this camera. I gotta like focus on how I look and stuff and all that other stuff, you know. And yeah, I think
I don't have to focus on how I look.
I mean that's true, but I think most people do like subconsciously. You know what I mean? A little bit. Um, you know? No? Okay, I'm trying to back you up here. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Okay.
Scott,
Okay,
do
but
better
yeah,
next
the
time.
the
Nope, no
cars,
excuse. Do better. You suck.
make
Um,
noise. Yeah, that's true. They had to talk loud, make sure that they could be heard over the car. Sometimes I'm
yeah.
you know,
Julia, did I ask you what you thought about that part one besides the Brahim part?
Yes, you did. You asked me what I thought about
Okay.
his questioning of the cockbite. Yes, yes.
Okay. Just making sure. Oh, that's it. That's literally a
Yeah.
2 minute video of Jake Indigo. I'll pick like a small one if we have another small one of them.
I talked to him
You
for
got a
longer.
bunch of small ones. This one's 43 seconds. Here's part 3. I'm just giving like little snippets for like the preview for like next season. And like we're kind of like just taking them apart. We're kind of doing like the reaction video before the actual video becomes out. Isn't that bizarre? We're so bizarre.
Okay, so how can activism function more cohesively?
I'm not sure because, yeah, there's many different activist groups out there, and they're just not. I feel like there should be, if we would all work together more to get more of us out on the front lines protesting out here. There's so much online work being done, but I don't know if it's as effective as actually being out here and doing this. Yeah, I don't know.
So how can activism function more cohesively?
I'm not sure because, yeah, there's many different activist groups out there.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking over it. It's okay. Just listen. Can you guys listen and listen to me at the same time?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Yeah. It's like a skill to learn how to listen to two different people at the same time. It took me a while to learn it. Okay. It paused. So I feel like that was very short. That was 43 seconds of I don't know. Essentially, yeah, I don't know. That was no other questions for him. You just just that one question. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. I think this was nothing. I don't know. There was nothing really here. There was just I don't know. What do you guys think? Any thoughts that I've missed?
I couldn't. It was kind of distracting because I was like listening to this and then I was listening to that, so it was a little bit distracting of what of how he answered that. Is there a way I could go back and maybe rewind or?
Yeah, you just
I
hit
don't
the
know.
back button a couple times. Yeah, on like the arrow keyboard, it goes back 5 seconds, but you have to hit it back like a bit. Yeah. I don't know, because I feel like Jake Indigo, he's been touring with the Bloodstained Men for what? How many tours? Scott. Do you know how many tours he's been with them?
He said 3.
Okay, so there was 3. I don't think that was in the interviews here. I mean, I know he skipped around.
He said that. No, he said that in the video.
Okay, he said that in I think it's in part 2 or something. I don't know, but yeah, maybe. So I don't know. I feel like he's not as confident as of right now, and he's done 3 tours with the Bloodstained Men. Well, how often has he gotten interviewed?
I don't know. He did. I mean, I liked some of his answers. You know, he seemed like he had some information. He seemed like he was worth talking to, and I'd like to talk to him again. And he had some answer on the whole movement cohesion question, which I think is the movement's biggest problem. I think it's something we all need to talk about, because really, if we could get all the groups communicating, working together, doing a certain part, you know, they would understand. You guys are the legal side. You guys are the approach of the public face, message side. That was the internet side, and when they needed help, they could easily contact each other and ask for it. That's the cohesion. I think that would dramatically improve results.
Yeah, but he said he doesn't know how to improve like the cohesionness and the effectiveness. He said he doesn't know. Um, like he does say that it's a problem, but he doesn't know how to change it. And he did say that protesting is the best way to change it. Um, that's what I got out of the 4 3-second video, which I don't know. I don't know if I believe protesting is the best way. I mean, I think that's very popular amongst people to say. It's like, oh yeah, protesting is
Yeah.
the best way. But I don't.
That's what he thinks, and that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
If
need
that's
a large
hmm
group
Yeah, I do think
if you're
that.
gonna do.
Yeah, I think the large group is important to have for sure. Um, I don't know, and it's interesting because I don't know if Jake Indigo has ever done an interview before either. And so, how many people were there when you were there, Scott?
The bloodstained men had 6 members. They were all together touring, and then they had some people who would come out to help. There, that I believe they had 3 event additional members. You know, people who just passing by or they knew them. Saw the schedule and came out to help for that day. At the convention, they had about 4 or 5. They had a few more who come out. Yeah. So,
Okay.
but just 6 of their road
So,
members.
Jake Indigo is a part of that, right?
Well, yeah, he's got the outfit on, you know. The
Okay,
white
so
outfit.
6 people. So there are 6 people, and you got David Atkinson, Jake Indigo, Kareem, Zach Bell, and I want to say his name's Justin. I don't know why. What's his name? Steven?
David Atkinson.
David Atkinson, Jake Indigo, Kareem, Zach Bell, and somebody else. I don't know the other person's name.
Well, I don't know. When I see him, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Some of those people were not the road crew members. They were just the ones who joined in.
Oh, okay. So you just got like some. Okay, you just got.
Well, you'll know. I mean, if they're not wearing the Bloodstained Man uniform, then they're not on the road tour team.
Okay. So you got like 2. Okay, so how many Bloodstained Men members did you actually interview? 3, 4?
I think it was 2. I think so. Yeah, we'll go through the video, see if I remember it was Jake and David.
Okay, well, we just went through Jake and Atkinson. So, okay, because
well, I know, yeah. When we see others, we'll see what they're wearing. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the rest of them were not actual on the team.
Okay, yeah, because because when I was looking through them to go ahead and like arrange them in like their name files, that's interesting. So, okay, so we got 3 intactivists, but they're like sympathizers of Bloodstained Men, so they're not actual Bloodstained Men members. So, I think Jake Indigo, I think he did okay for an interview. I mean, I just feel like Bloodstained Men people, like road crew members, should be proficient at one. I think they should accept all interviews. Me personally, maybe I'm biased, you know. I just think that should be a thing they do. Like, if somebody wants to interview you, even if they're pro circumcision, I don't care if you have freaking if you have Nicole Matter out there wanting to do an interview with you, like, do it.
Oh
anyways,
yeah.
You know, like, just do the interview.
Right. No matter what side they're on, talk to them. In fact, that'd be great, because what they can do with someone who would, you know, be against them when that person's asking questions is the activist can prove their legitimacy, you know, debunk any supposed health benefits that it's rumored to have, that we've all heard those, and answer difficult questions, you know, and have good answers. I'm sure they can, as to why it needs to stop. You know, people might, what about the parents' rights? Shouldn't they get a choice? And the answer could be, it the kid will be for that kid's life, because it's the body he's living in. But those are good questions, and I kind of tried a little to be kind of like that. I didn't ask that question because you know, I'm already on their side, but I did try to be a little critical of the performance of the movement, because that's what I looked at it kind of like a quality assurance kind of thing. Like, that was my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be like, you know, are you spending the money well? Are you getting the good results? That was the question
Ask
that I
that
asked.
question if they're
Impact
spending the
is-
money well.
No, no. I
Be
did
like,
not
yo,
ask
let's
that
see your
question.
finances
That's
right
not what I
now.
was saying.
This is an
What I
audit.
was going to say is
We're
that was
auditing you.
kind of the intention behind the question. Do you think the movement is as successful as it should be by now for as long as it's existed? That's what I meant. And to answer that question, David could have gone into detail about where the money's being spent, because if it's spent in the more efficient areas, then the movement's going to be more successful. And if it's not going to be as much. And that's why statistics is very important, And I should have asked a question like, do you think that the billboards are really effective? Do is that good? Is that making a much of a difference? And how would you get an answer to really know? And I guess it would be talk to all parents after who had baby boys after the billboards got put up, who kept their sons intact, and ask them why, And if their answer is because I saw this billboard, and that's what deterred me, and if that's a high enough amount, and how many parents would have to, for that reason, for it to be worth the price of the billboards.
So I do think
I don't know
they
how to
have
calculate
analytics.
that. Yeah.
They do have analytics on their website for bloodstainedmen.com, and they do advertise on their billboards. They could probably give you that answer. But the interesting thing is you're coming up with good questions now, right?
Yeah.
And I like looking at most of these videos. Most of them are like 5 minutes long, except for like the Zach Bell one. That's like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so interesting. So like, were you just like more stressed out asking these questions? Because like, what is it like for like the average viewer who does not know what it's like to just run up on somebody with a phone in your hand being like, I want to do an interview with you? Like, what is that like?
Well, it wasn't like that, because I wasn't running up to a total stranger and just throwing out some questions. No, I approached them. Most of the bloodstained men already knew me. Even Daniel Bryson, he's never met me before until then.
Yeah.
Until I told him about some of my experiences in the movement. And he said, "Oh, you're an activist?" I said, "Yeah, I was a member of the Bay Area and activist, and things we did in these cities. We did like the Pride parades, but we did also normal days like protest at the ACLU, because the American Civil Liberties Union, when they had meetings because of that time in San Francisco, when they tried to get it on the ballot to vote to outlaw it in that city." And enough activists did get enough signatures, but it still didn't make it to the ballot for people to vote on it, because the ACLU was funded by some Jewish group and a Muslim group, and they stopped it from even getting that far. And so he was like, "Oh, okay, you have experience doing this too." I said, "Yeah, I've never been a member of the Bloodstained Men." And he's like, "But I've met them when they came to the around and with where you guys are now, right? In Central California, out there in this area, in the Bay Area." When I was with the Bay Area activists, and that's when I met some of them, like Brother K, and whoever was with them at the time on the and Brett from Cockfight. The Cockfight guys would even come out to California for that, for the big San Francisco protests. And that's back with James Lowen, was documented and all. And he's like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay, I know about those guys. I know you're talking about."
Yeah.
So then we went into detail, and I asked her these questions that, I just didn't think of everything that I should have. And that's, I don't know, that's usually the case with most people, I think, is that in any conversation, they always, if they do look back on it, can think, "Oh, I should have said this too. Oh, I should have talked about this other thing and should have asked these questions, because that was important to know, and they didn't come to mind at the time." So how it worked here was I would just approach, and we had that conversation, so he was familiar with, even though he didn't know exactly, he never met me to know exactly who I was, but he knew some of my, I guess, like credentials, my experience in the movement. And then I told him what I wanted, that I worked with this YouTube channel called Prevail Over the System, and what we do, and we put the news out and why. So it wasn't a stranger anymore, and he understood what the purpose was. And I was like, "So I want to ask questions about how this movement functions that you think, or is it going well, and what can improve. I mean, like the cohesion question. You know, we talked about that before the camera started recording.
Okay.
And I told him like why I'm going to ask, and I said because I believe anyway. And you know, maybe not all intactivists agree with me, that the biggest problem in intactivism is that the groups aren't communicating and working enough together. You know, we're not all one team here. You know, so I wanted his input on that. Like, so you know, do you think the cohesion's good enough? Do you think it could improve? And also that does require him to know about what the other groups do for that too.
Okay, I see. So have you been checking the chat at all?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so apparently there's a lot of chatters, like a lot of chatting, especially this Patricia
Well,
Robin.
chatting, but not too many different people.
Yeah, I know, but
A lot
so
of the same people.
luckily
Yeah.
I checked my Discord. So I can't actually see the chat because my OBS is not picking it up. I don't know why. But can you see chat, Scott?
On YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I see it.
Okay, yeah, because I'm trying to see it on my. I think it's because I'm on mobile as well. I have 3 screens up. So,
But you're not seeing the YouTube chat?
I am not seeing the YouTube chat. I really wish I did, and I'm so sad because last time I saw it fine.
Saying, though? Because you're seeing someone talking on here, right?
No, I went to Discord. I went to Discord and I checked Hoodie by Nature, and he's like, "Bro, that you have people who have questions for you." I'm like, "Oh shoot, yeah, we should probably answer those." Because I don't know, I was kind of hoping that somebody was checking chat. I thought we discussed this.
Yeah, no, I've been reading this a little. I mean, I've been reading it. I just didn't know you wanted to address the comments yet.
You're supposed to address that's why we live chat.
So
well, we can talk to people
already
live.
Talking on our thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to get
you don't just ignore the chat. Oh my god. If we were gonna ignore the chat, it wouldn't have been live. It would have just been a recording. That would have been the point.
Right. I didn't know when you wanted to talk about this though. Okay.
So we're gonna get to your chat questions right now and stuff like that. So I know Patricia Robinette definitely has things.
Is that who Hoodie told you about on Discord or what?
Yeah, that's what he told me about Discord. I don't know what's going on because I can't see the chat. I literally cannot.
She's got some questions. She didn't really ask a question. She just had some comments to say.
Oh, okay. I mean, we can address them. I mean, what?
Okay. So yeah, the Hoodie and Rob and Patricia are talking. And Hoodie tells her you should do an interview because I think others would like to hear about your perspective on and insights on this movement. I've talked to her; she's pretty interesting, and I've seen some.
Oh, okay. Yo, so wait, you think you can get Patricia Robinette on an interview for POTS? I think it'd be pretty cool too.
I've been talking to her for a while, trying to, and I hope that now that she's watched this, she maybe this made a little bit more interested in doing an interview to talk about how she feels her discrepancies with you, which I'm going to get to soon. Yeah, she says she's defending Brother K. She said Brother K is involved in a very controversial area, which many people are hostile to. If he just talked without knowing who he is talking to, then he would be vulnerable to hostile enemies. So that comment came up when we were talking about that. I approached him and he's like, "Well, who's POTS? What is that?" And I said, "It's that YouTube channel." He goes, "Well, who else is in it?" And I said, "I don't know who they are exactly. We talk online." He's like, "So you just work with some anonymous people?" I was like, "Yeah, but we put out these news videos and we think it would be helpful." And that's when he said no. So that's when she put that comment on it. That's why.
Okay, so for that comment, I think that's interesting because let's circle back to like, even if pro circumcisers were like, "Hey, I want to do an interview with Brother K," why should he turn that down if he has the chance to go reach a different audience?
Right, he should definitely. Yeah, even if you can't change their minds, it would help win over the audience if there is one, hopefully, because that's usually with public debates, televised, broadcasted debates. The people you're winning over is the audience. It's not the person you're arguing with. Now, if you can win them over, then that's best. That's great. That's amazing, because then it would make you more likely, a lot more likely to win over the audience. But really, what you're doing is you're presenting your side, and you want a logical thinking audience to take your side, and that's going to happen you're more likely of that. I think it happens more often than winning over the person you're arguing against. So with that in mind, yeah, definitely intactivists should talk with pro cutters, because it's a chance for the people who may be on the pro cutting side or just know the pro cutters, or anyone who may watch other things that those people broadcast, and this is just one of the subjects they come across. Now they're going to talk about it, to get that audience to listen to us, to reach a whole new audience that may never have ever heard of intactivism, never heard of any group. They have no idea. They're just the standard, most common American mindset on it is, the common thing of the doctor says you do it as a baby, and then no thought about it ever again for the rest of their life. And now they don't try to research it. So let's say they follow this one YouTube probably a YouTube person here, and this guy talks about other subjects too, right? That's what they watch it for. And then this one comes up, and he's on the pro cutting side, or she, and it could be because of their upbringing, their culture, could be because of a lot of things they've been told around in their community, and they're very strong on it, or religious beliefs too. That's another very powerful reason. Or could be that they're more on that kind of like much, and it's just what the doctors say do it, and they go, okay, well that's the professional, the doctor says, then I do it because I follow doctor's orders. They went to college for biology, they know. And then they come on, they go, okay, yeah, let's talk to some people who are real educated on this subject, because they're very against the genital cutting. They're activists for it. They're that passionate about it. So let's hear from them. And even if it does turn into an argument where the pro cutter person isn't very polite to us, it could still be a very good chance for our people, the intactivists, to defend the movement and look good to the audience watching, and reach a whole new group of people who would have never heard about this movement otherwise. This is the only way it did come to their attention. So that's a good reason to accept interviews.
Yeah. So Julia, what did you have to say on the matter? I don't know if you agree or.
No, I agree with what Scott was saying. I mean, I definitely I find that when I would speak, in like a group setting, like when I was doing my childbirth education certification, like I would talk to one person, but I knew that there were other people listening to me. So even though there may have been some arguing going on there, I knew that that there were other people listening, and in fact there were people who would come over and speak to me afterwards. But also you never also know what because when you're talking to a group in a group setting, you're only focused on that one person, and what everyone else is thinking is going to be very diverse. There's going to be a lot of other people in the audience, and so you don't really know what sort of who's in the audience and what they're thinking. But definitely having pro cutters in the as part of an interview really helps to shed light on somebody who's just learning about the subject for the first time. So maybe they're not necessarily pro cutters, but they're just sort of they haven't even made up their mind about what they think about the subject, or they don't really know much about it. And so that could intrigue them to learn more. If they see that, there's this there's back and forth argument, and I'd like to know where I stand, but I don't know much about it. So that could encourage them to research the subject further.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Yes.
Because let's pretend let's because who is Potts? I know Patricia's like, who is this anime character, right? okay, so Potts could be anybody, right? So Potts could be on the fence. What if Potts is like, oh, I'm on the fence, but I think I'm gonna give them a chance. I'm gonna give these intactivist people a chance, and I'm gonna go and and I have like a group of people, right? And I'm gonna go send somebody out to do interviews, and I'm so excited. I'm like, I can't wait to interview the big man himself, Brother K. Let's go, baby. We're gonna go interview Brother K, and then him be like, no. Be like, well, why? Be like, oh, well, I don't know what he's trying to do. Be like, well, why am I a bad guy? Like, like now I'm insulted. So if I was on the fence, now I think, oh, well, these intactivist people suck. Like, I went all this way. Like, Scott, how far did you go to meet the bloodstained men?
That's like 1 hour to drive out there. Yeah.
Okay, well, how far
yeah,
did you go to, like,
the other
San
one's
Francisco? Huh?
3 hours to drive there.
So 3 hours to drive there, plus back, so that's 6 hours, plus 1 hour there, so that's 8 hours of driving. 8 hours of driving to go. Yeah, so 8 hours of driving, plus what?
Driving around in that city sucks.
Yeah, plus the traffic sucks. Making all these sacrifices.
That city sucks. Yeah.
Just to go ahead and be like, no, I'm not interviewing with you. You don't care. I don't know who you are. Like, really?
What?
I don't know. Like, and Patricia is like upset.
He doesn't
I
know
guess,
why. Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, she left already. It's maybe if we had mentioned her comments sooner, she would have said.
Yeah, I know. We probably definitely should have. I mean, yeah, that's why we keep an eye on the chat. But I did see that Patricia said, and the encounters often happen fast, fleetingly. People walk past you, you exchange a few words, and then they're gone. Criticism is unwarranted. So
yes.
Yeah, okay, that may be
true.
true.
Who's she talking about there? I mean, unless she's talking. Okay, I think she's talking about the people who, not
talking
me,
about
but
the
she's
doctor.
talking about the doctor who do or anybody who interacts with the bloodstained men, not on camera, just people walking by, and if they do speak, it's real quick.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that I think the good thing, the important thing about having the controversial or the difficult interviews, and then by that I mean the people who disagree with you. So the arguments, the ones that could be, the people who are on the opposite side, is because as long as the public is seeing it, is because it shows the controversy of the subject that I think most people don't know. It's something that they think it's a one-time thing, and after that they got told it was good, like getting a shot, and then okay, yeah, it was healthy, and then that's it, and you don't think about it no more. And this shows the controversy and why it's harmful, why it's bad, and it can be a good eye opener. So I think that's why good. Also, the pro cutter people are going to ask the questions that that the activists are here to debunk or ask about the things. So that the fake benefits, the whatever, ask the questions, that it's a great chance for the movement to prove its legitimacy.
Yeah, but I don't think, but Patricia was talking about the criticisms that I had or somebody had for David Atkinson. Atkinson.
She let's see, she said that,
I already read it, yeah.
That he's a hero, Brother K's a hero, and doesn't deserve to be criticized for not being available.
But he was available. He literally was available.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I was like, okay. I thought, even after, like at the end, if they were done for the day, they could hang around for a few minutes to talk to him, but they always wanted to leave. I'm like, what's the rush? But they said they always have a plan ahead for the next day, I guess. So I was like, okay then. But that was something I did, and I'm not going to say all the bloodstained men. We made the decisions. We're like, oh, yeah, we can't talk. We don't really want to. They kind of got the whole go away kind of response vibe from them, and nice. And I'm like, okay, well then there's a problem right there. That's a lack of teamwork thing, and it seemed like they were too closed off, not just for me, but I think they would be from everyone else. I'm like, well, then there's why there's not teamwork.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And that's holding back.
I don't know, Julie, what do you think? I'm curious.
I definitely agree. Like when when talking to people who are pro cutters, they, you're also exposing them in a way that is not normally shown on display. Like, a lot of people think that, oh, you're a doctor, so therefore they're educated about the foreskin, but they're not. And so if you
It should be.
they should be, but they're not
Yeah.
taught about it in medical schools. They don't learn about it. And
And
most Americans in general, most American men have been circumcised, and therefore most American in general, and doctors, they lack that sexual experience with male foreskin, or just experience in general. When I read the book, what was it? Doctors, well, no, What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Circumcision by Paul Fleiss.
Yeah, that Dr. Paul,
Yes,
but he's in the Penn and Teller with Maryland pilot. Yeah.
Yes, he explains the fact that, like, when he was in medical school, he would describe it as like a game. He was like, oh, because he didn't know what he was doing. To him it was, he says that I was performing major surgeries, like, open heart surgery. So something like a circumcision, where he's removing tissue that he's not familiar with, that he's never had any firsthand experience with, and he's never, and he's surrounded by people who encourage him to do this. He doesn't think twice about it, so this is what makes it seem so trivial, and that's why we look like a bunch of yahoos. But when you expose the fact that, hey, these doctors really don't know what the anatomy is all about, like, or that they're cutting out a part of the penis that they're really, that they know that is perfectly healthy, but just because it's expected of them this is what they're doing, or they have their own personal reasons for it, and it sort of gets people to at least question
critically about it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you can think critically about it as a doctor. You don't have time, like doctors, they're in a lot of things they got to know very quickly. They're trying to pass, trying to get the grade, trying to go and pay off their debt, right?
Right.
So I get that from a doctor's standpoint. And I mean, we could go on different avenues on this. I mean, there's multiple jobs that are not the best jobs in the world, that are not the most ethical jobs in the world, and people do it anyways, and I think it's, the thing is, though, is I think it's almost hypocritical for intactivists to go after doctors super harshly when themselves are not cohesive yet, and they're not working together yet, because like no one's perfect, right? And it's, if you have some understanding from the doctor's perspective, instead of just calling them horrible names, they're probably going to listen to you a lot better, and I think that people are like, oh, how do you not know this? Like, you should know this. Like, you're horrible. You're a monster. You're just trying to hurt as many babies as you can. And, and they're like,
I agree.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. And they're like, bro, I have a family. I am trying to take care of them. I just saved a life literally 2 days ago. Like, shut up. Like,
Yes.
So I do think that it's kind of a rough thing to like balance, because I do get the passion of intactivists, but then at the same time, intactivists will attack each other at the same time. Because it's like, bro, like, pick a side, pick a team, all right? And I like what Scott said. I think POTS is more like quality assurance, trying to like evaluate intactivism, which is why we don't typically go after the pro cutters, because we have so many groups already doing that. So I think hopefully that answers Patricia's concerns about how the criticism of maybe David Atkinson. Yeah, because Patricia said that people walk past you quickly, and like they say a few words and they're gone. But once again, a GoPro, super easy to do, right? Just slap that GoPro on, leave it running 12 hours, recharge it. Take what you need from it.
Daniel Bryce had one on his belt.
Yeah, Daniel Bryce had one. So if Daniel Bryce, if he had one on his belt, there's no reason why other people cannot. It's for your safety. The thing is like, I think critical feedback isn't like criticism. Like, I don't think we're just sitting here like being like, oh, bloodstained men, you suck. I think we're more like, hey, I think you can do better for this, this, and this. And I also said a lot of good things about David Atkinson too. I think we all did. And also, I think we're criticizing ourselves as well. I've definitely said some things about Scott. Which, granted, I know this is his first time actually doing an interview, right? It's like first time.
You did a good job.
Oh, conducting interviewing other people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he did a good job too,
Yeah.
especially being out there in the public. Like, you have a lot of things going on, right?
Well, now that we're talking about it, we found out how I could have done better.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that's what we're doing. Like, you need to go out, you need to go and do an objective, a mission, whatever you want to call it, a tour, and then you need to come back, debrief, and be like, all right, what did we do good? What did we do bad on? And I think the bloodstained men don't do that. I think they're just like, all right, we did it. All right, time to go on to the next city. It's like, you need to improve, you need to involve.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Is you don't want to be doing any job really, just thinking, okay, yep, this is working just fine, and not questioning your strategy. You know, there's a lot of jobs you could do a certain way that's not the best way, you know, and be unaware of that if you don't think about it.
And then they fail.
It's working.
And then they fail.
Or, or in this case, they think it's working and maybe it doesn't. So yeah, that awareness is what I would want to bring up to them. I wanted them to know. Also, when you mentioned, or it was mentioned about the doctors, they don't know better, or something, they just don't learn about it. That's the reason that when I did the interview and I mentioned that video of the daytime talk show of the doctors, and someone took scenes out when they talked about circumcision, and when someone took scenes from that and pointed out that the doctors are kind of unable to agree, but the doctors who said, well, no doctor was like, oh, it's just bad, don't do it. But some of them were like, well, you don't really need to. That's the closest they got. And even then, the other doctors didn't want him talking. They wanted, and I thought that's a really important thing, not just for intactivists to see, but for other people. And I think really that makes the best argument, because it shows the problem is in the hospital. And what I mean is, to explain that better, right? Because of course the problem's in the hospital. It's like you knew that already, right? What I mean is the approach is to show that, because when they're out there talking, they would say more of like, it's harmful, it's bad. The foreskin has these functions. They're all gone, of course, because then the function of any body part is lost if you lose that body part, right? But what they're not saying is like, oh, doctors don't even know any better. Because now what you're doing is you're actually pointing out the problem with the doctor's credibility. And if you can actually prove it, which, I mean, that could be difficult because doctors don't want to talk to you. But one way would be to quiz the doctor on functions of the foreskin. And when they show that they don't know, well, there you go. And then to an educated public who does know, that's going to be the astounding thing. And I don't think we ever make that argument that any intactivist group who's talked to the public has. I'm not sure yet, but I don't think the bloodstained men are either making that argument. And if they did make that argument and it has improvement, I think that might actually really go a distance, make a big difference there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, it's just wild because, I mean, we are watching some interviews of like the bloodstained men, and I do think that it is important that they can convey this to the doctors that, hey, people are upset, right, in a palatable way. And I don't know, because it's like you said, there are 6 people there. Now, is that really conveying that message? Like, oh, hey, 6 people are upset. Like, okay. And maybe I know there's like an exponential factor. Like, for every one person who protests, that's like 1,000 people who are upset, right? It's kind of like if you get like one message, like somebody emails you and they took the time, that's the equivalent of like 20 people that are upset or whatever. So there's ways to like make the connection like on stats like that. I don't know if you guys knew that, but 6 people, that's not a lot. I mean, even if it's like,
You know, it's
hmm?
oh, I'm sorry.
What?
I no. Um, Years ago, uh, there was like a poster that said ethical doctors say no to circumcision, and a lot of doctors are like, what? They took really offense to it. But I feel like it should have been read as informed, because I think if you have a judgmental approach, that they're not gonna listen, because nobody wants to be judged. So, but if it was like more like informed, then that kind of perks the curiosity. So it's more like how to kind of get doctors to kind of gently encourage them to accept new information about the penis, or or a new way of thinking about this topic, instead of coming across so harshly to them, because otherwise they're going to be like, I don't want to hear it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Especially
So
when you like threaten them. You know what I mean? That definitely doesn't go over very well
yeah.
because what's unfortunately what's in the past is in the past. So like I would rather have a doctor who circumcised 50 babies, right? Stop at 50 and be like, "Oh, I was wrong. I'm going to stop this." Rather than, intactivists get their vengeance or something and be
Right.
like, "Oh, you're wrong and you're an outcast," and then that doctor doubling down and going to circumcising 1,000 babies now because they were like, "Wow, this approach was so violent and made me so upset that now I know I'm right." Because people just double
Yeah,
down when you get more
they do.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they think of you when they do it. So now it's even
Yes.
worse. Now it's like, ah,
No, I know.
yes. And
Yeah.
that's human nature. Um,
Yeah.
so, and once again, I know this is a very emotional topic, because once again, like, we did get, I would say, critical feedback, um, and and I do want to address it, right? Because it's, like we're criticizing intactivism, so why would they change if we're criticizing them? Um, and once again, I feel like we're pretty neutral. I don't think we're going over. Are we going that hard on the bloodstained men? I think we're. I don't know.
No, no. In fact, if they're watching them, maybe they could, they'll at least be able to see a different how other people see them, and like that kind of thing. So it's always good for them too, if they decide to take a look on the
Yeah.
feedback, so they'll be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully, we start watching the chat more. Once again, my chat is not working on my phone. I just don't have YouTube up on my computer. Once again, I am running on 3 screens, and I can only manage so much. There's a lot of technical things that go on. But
Like you were reading some comments, right? You were able to see them?
no, so I can only read the comments that were sent on my Discord. That's it. So people were getting
Oh,
screenshots.
pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
You want me to get on with the comments?
yeah, yes. Do that for the love of God.
Oh.
So if somebody says
Okay.
something like crazy, that's like, "Oh yeah, we should probably address this," or someone says like, "Oh, you're doing great," like say that. How many comments do we have? I don't know. Is this like flooding? Am I just like missing
No.
30,000 comments?
No. Here we go. They try to film those encounters. It often doesn't work out. And no, they don't use GoPros. Why are you criticizing the bloodstained men? Who is that talking behind the purple hoodie hiding his real identity? If you think you could do it better, then please do it. The moment the camera comes out, these people clam up and these encounters don't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Trish
once
Headley,
again, you can videotape in public. Like GoPros are small. Like, it's not in your face. Like it's just like any police officer that pulls you over, right? Like you don't think about
Yeah,
the
body
fact that
camera.
you're being recorded, you don't think about that. You're just like, "Oh man, person with badge is questioning me." Like if you're in a uniform and you have a GoPro on your belt, okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
No one's going to really see that. I don't know. And then about the whole like anonymity thing, I know people are like, oh, who's POTS? I don't, dude. Literally, there are so many flesh tubers. It's ridiculous. So many. We've covered this to the point of nauseum. Like, literally, I am nauseous covering this. I think there's going to be people who just do not accept VTubers, and that's fine, you know. But there's people who love VTubers, and that's just going to be a thing. You know, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, also, I don't know if people know that, like, hey, POTS, we do the e-commerce program, we do CareBuzz, we fund Intactivism, right? Like, we do all these things, but yet people are like, anime person, don't like him, nope. It's like, oh, okay, good job. And I don't know, that's a form of discrimination, bro. This is anime discrimination, and I feel hurt. Man, can you believe this? What kind of society do we live in, where anime people get attacked and belittled? Oh my
You know, there are videos that have anime avatars as the, you know, they don't. I can't. There's Are you familiar with MGTOW? Or you know,
the song?
Yeah.
there's like
Linda.
MGTOW videos. You know, there's one that I can't remember the name of the guy's YouTube channel, but he's an avatar, and he has like the whole, you know.
Oh, Taylor the Fiend.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
What
of
was-
there's lots of
Yep.
VTubers like Taylor the
Is that
Fiend,
who it is?
Doomsburg,
We
yeah,
wanted to interview Taylor the Fiend too.
yeah, I
Yeah, Taylor the Fiend.
know.
Taylor the Fiend. That little elf vampire thing, you know, vampire with the 20 years. Yeah, and the suit.
I love this
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, we thought he'd be good for POTS because he's the men's rights kind of focuses
Yes.
on that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Yes.
activist, but
And
he
I
at
think-
least speaks up. So I thought he would care about this subject.
yeah,
Sure, he would. I mean, that's what, like, you know, maybe reaching out to these other channels that are very popular, you know,
yeah. And also
because it does fall. This does fall on the men's rights.
heartstrings.
You know?
Yeah, no, because I do think Intactivism is like a section of men's rights. You know, I feel like it's like
Oh, yeah.
human rights, men's rights. Like it overlaps. You know, if you go on a Venn diagram, I think Intactivism is like in that middle part. You know, so yes, but yeah, so we do have a comment saying that we should have Brother K's people pressure him to interview with POTS. Do you think that would be likely? That's actually on the Discord.
Oh, that yeah. I don't know. It's likely they would do it, but if they did, I think it would work. I think he would. Yeah.
Yo, you really think? Do you think people would just start emailing Brother K like, "Hey, get on the POTS channel. Get on the POTS channel." I think that'd be
It
epic.
depends. Yeah, but I think most of those emails, if not all of them, will be coming from people outside the Bloodstained Men, and I don't think he care what they say. I think he only cares about the.
I just
Well, okay. Well, let's ask this: do you think Brother K cares about all of the Intactivism, or he cares about the Bloodstained?
That's a great
Well,
I think
question. That's a great
That's
question.
one for the polls. Huh?
Yeah,
That should be
one
on
for the polls.
Discord.
One for the polls. Well, Julia, what do you think? Come on, Julia, you got this.
Yeah, we should have had that one before. Had the results.
I really do. I think he's genuinely, you know, cares about, like, you know, bringing down the rates, and, you know, I think he's, yeah. I mean, obviously he's focused on his what he's doing, you know, his Bloodstained Men, you know, but I do think that in general, I think, you know, because it affects all the other groups affect each other, you know, each group affects each other, and so, yeah.
Well, then why wouldn't he go help other groups then? Like, why wouldn't he be like, "Oh, POTS
Right,
is an activist group. Oh shoot, I got you, bro. Don't worry."
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference
Yeah, you're right. I know.
being about
He's just
POTS
busy,
or being
you
about
know?
the movement. Let's say that was the difference between being about the movement and being about the Bloodstained Men. You know, does he really want to do, like, you know, if he was asked, say, by another group, you know, when he wasn't touring that was close to him or somewhere, like, hey, could you we want to get something going, and you know, you got so much experience, could you come out to that? Would he do it then, or would he help promote the other groups that are not the ones out in the holding signs, but they are in the public? Say like Anthony the Squadrons Group into Action. Try to put the word out about groups that do lobby is within, I guess, the limits of what a nonprofit organization can do. Would he do that? Would he try to?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, they're not lobbying, but they're telling people about another group that is lobbying.
Well,
So they're helping promote that group. That's what I'm saying. Like in promoting into action. Would they do that too if they can? That's where I'm saying. So does really care about the bloodstained men's success only? As if they're the only group doing this, or does he care about all the groups? To help the cause.
I think to answer that question is that you have to look at Intaction. They recently did Maine, and they went hard in Maine, right? Was the Bloodstained Men, were they protesting? Were they out there also protesting and not advocating in the legal sense, but just getting people awareness of what's going on in Maine, of being like, hey, circumcision's bad. Just saying circumcision's bad, just getting that into people's minds. So people are like, wow, there's protesting, there's a fight in the courts, there's, all these emails coming in, like this is serious. Or did Bloodstained Men, did they just not go to Maine? I don't know, and I kind of want to do research on that, because I don't think they went to Maine during the time that they should have been, in at least my opinion.
All right. Yeah. So you're saying if they were in Maine while Intaction was lobbying, it would have gotten more attention to the cause, and then perhaps people would have stood behind Intaction, help push the bill through, or help. Yeah,
absolutely.
Be supporters of Intaction. That's what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, that's the team player thing there. All right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I'm checking right now for Bloodstained Men to see if they went to Maine. Let me see.
I think they did look maybe recently though.
I am checking. They went to California. They went to Las Vegas, Maryland, New York State. No, they didn't. They went to Great Plains. Maine's not in the Great Plains. Yeah, so they completely just... Dude, I feel like Maine, everyone should have went in Maine. Everybody, like, if you could have, go there to Maine, go protest, hold signs, because Intaction couldn't do it at that time, because Anthony is really Intaction, and he was going out to the health equity campaign. So I feel like Bloodstained Men, they could have proved that, oh, hey, protesting works. Look, we got this bill passed in Maine. But the thing is that the bill didn't get passed in Maine. I think that is a glaring overlook from Bloodstained Men, to not be out there in Maine protesting, getting public awareness, because that's what their whole goal is, for public awareness. And when Intactivists needed them most, they were in the middle of Kansas. I don't know. That's wild to me. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think it would benefit the movement for the leadership of Blood Segment to communicate with other Intactivist groups, and then start going perhaps where they're needed more at certain times. So yeah, it would have been good to do that.
Yeah,
they were there in Maine when Anthony was trying to pass some bills.
Yeah, Julie, what do you think?
I mean, you're right. There's strength in numbers. So if there's, there's more, if there's more than one group, then there's going to be a higher volume and more attention and more press. Even. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. It was so close. That Intaction bill almost got passed. 4 votes. That's all it needed. It was just 4 votes. And I think if Bloodstained Men, and if they got Cockfight, and even Your Whole Baby, they could have came in and do some kind of event for mothers, and just really flooded that area, because I do think that was a very important 2 bills to get passed. And I think they both didn't get passed. And it was just, I don't know. That's so, that's upsetting, and I think health equity campaign, I think they did everything that they could, and they just the support was not there. And I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. So I mean, once again, is this like criticism? Are we criticizing bloodstained men? I mean, yeah. Once again, sure. I mean, we're critical feedback. Talk to people around you. Know what's going on. Don't be so stuck in what you're doing. I don't know. 12 minutes. Like literally take 15 minutes. Watch the POTS news. Figure out what's going on. I don't know. Is that hard to figure out what's going on with intactivism? I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to make it easier for people to know what's going on. So I do see in Scott's perspective that I do think that the bloodstained men do seem to be focused on only what bloodstained men are doing, and I can see that. That everything else is like, oh well, they're doing their thing, we're doing our thing, and it's like you guys are like 7 people, you know. That's
Yep.
I don't know. That's wild. But yeah, so give me a quick second here. I just went ahead and screwed everything up because I'm stupid. I clicked on the wrong thing when I should not have done that. Give me a second. Let me go back to this. Okay, there we go. We're back. Yeah, so I'm going to go check Discord really quick. Is there any other comments that we missed? Because this is like the Ask Me Anything section, I guess, of this now.
Let's see here. Is that if the let's see, the encounters often happen fast, fleeting, and past you exchange a few words and they're gone. Criticism is unwarranted. Potentially, a body cam tactic may be cool. They obviously don't have the footage, because if they did, which they sometimes do, they post it publicly. Let's say they have.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they didn't actually have the footage.
So I guess it's saying that they will always post their body cam footage.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what about Daniel Bryan has his body cam.
I would hope
And,
so.
He said if Potts is serious and sincere, they need to be as courageous as Brother K and actually be real, not animated characters.
Oh, gee, okay. I don't know how to
said,
reply to that. Like, I don't know. That's just. I mean, once again, I don't know how to like. I think I replied to this a bunch of times already. There are different ways of doing intactivism, and once again, I feel like Potts fills that role of what people want to do. Because if you're like, oh, you need to be as courageous as Brother K, you mean turning down interviews from people who are on your side? You know what I mean? Like, not to be mean, but like, that's kind of what he did. I mean, what interview did he go on? Like, what news interview was public? Because I didn't get any news film for Bloodstained Men. No TV. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it seems like even for NOI trying to give them like press, Brother K is like, no, I don't want that either. So like, I don't know. Like, sorry. I mean, once again, Brother K, he does fill a role in intactivism, and not just Brother K, we're talking about Bloodstained Men in general. And this is really about David Atkinson, because David Atkinson runs Bloodstained Men. So hopefully David Atkinson is paying attention, or someone can give this to David Atkinson, because he can now control Bloodstained Men and make it more effective, you know?
Yes.
So I know we're on Brother K a lot as of right now. But I think, once again, David Atkinson, what did he do? He did an interview. I think he did very good. I think you asked him a hard question and he gave you a very good PR response. I think that shows that that's what you want.
The PR response. Do you think you should just give a more direct answer? Would you like a different answer from him?
Oh, well, I mean, for us, sure. I mean, absolutely. But I mean, at the same time, you hit him up in the streets where his like, okay, this is my element. And I mean, at the same time, it's once again, like, interviews are like mental chess. Like, you could have brought him back. You could have rephrased the question. You could have kept on him. So that is experience. And I mean, I feel like, once again, you were like, it's the first time when I interviewed Brendan Murata. When I interviewed Brendan Murata just like destroyed me. Okay. Brendan Murata was like, I would ask him a question and then he'd like rephrase the question and then like ask his own question. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. You know.
Why would he do that though? Was
It
was it
just
to dodge questions or to
no.
just a better
So
understanding?
you do it to frame the question in a better way that makes you look good. And that is like
Yeah.
professional level taking interview. Like that's not a bad thing because um whenever I mean you've done interviews before, Scott, I know you have. But
Yeah.
that is a skill that is learned through doing a bunch of interviews because Brendan, he's done a bunch of interviews. David Atkinson, he's done a lot of interviews. Brother K, I don't know why he turned you down because I would feel like that's concerning because you should be proficient in doing interviews enough to, even if we did ask like questions that were like tricky, he could have taken it a different route and made things look good. Because what David Atkinson did, you asked him a hard question, you're like, hey, is this movement growing as much as you want? Obviously the answer is no. We know the answer is no,
Yeah.
right? We all know that's
Yeah.
what he should, like, that's what he's probably thinking is, oh, of course not. We should have hundreds of thousands of people on the streets, right? But
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
is, he knew that you were going to try and pin that on bloodstained men, right? So what he did was he's like, well, in a sane world, we wouldn't even be here. So it's like, oh, wow, that's a good answer. Like, bro, that's checkmate, bro.
Well, I didn't.
You
I
know?
didn't want to go after him to try to make the bloodstained men look bad. You know, I guess I wouldn't want to respond with, "Well, haven't you made the world sane yet, then, David? Huh?" You know, I didn't want to, to chase him down, trap him, be like, the bloodstained men are failing. Just admit to it. You know, I didn't want it to look. I wasn't trying to do that. It was more intended. It was really just to be the whole like. Do you think that this movement's behind? Is it lagging? And how can we pick up the pace? You know, and not to say, hey, you're failing, you're a loser. You know, and not like that. I didn't want that. I just wanted him to really discuss like where does it need to improve and how can it. And I was hoping like a really wise, smart, tactical leader to be like, yeah, this is my plan. You know, I know how we can step it up. I know how we can get more people here. I was hoping he was going to look good by telling me that.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Like, I guess it's kind of like how I would have thought of the question. Because if this was asked by anybody else, like, I know you meant well with the question, but, like, if a reporter asked that question, I think he treated you like a normal reporter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that you were coming with good intentions, but I feel like he was giving you good answers for the majority of like newscasting, right? Like, I mean, once again, if David Atkinson wants to come on Potts and do like a cyberspace interview with Potts, like, I am ready, you know? I have been prepared by the best, all right? Brendan Murata has taught me a lot, just through experience on how to go through that, about how rephrasing questions and all that stuff. And I review my videos. I know what's going on, especially slowing them down, editing them. You learn a lot quicker that way. So it's, I don't know, it's an art form, and I think it's a lot harder than people give like credit for, I guess. But yeah, so.
Do you mean the video editing too, or
well, not the video editing? That's the funnest part. I love video editing. I love that.
How to hold the interview, to ask the questions the right way.
Yeah, asking questions and then sticking with the questions. I think that's like the hardest thing.
That's the art form, huh?
Yeah.
I would really like it and appreciate it if the
also, you're an hour behind on the chat. Get current on the chat. Yeah, can somebody please look at chat? Sorry, my skin. We're working on it. I thought Scott was looking at the chat. I told him to be looking at it. I was like, hey, man.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about this stuff.
Okay.
Do it all
I'm sorry.
I was going to get back to the comments. I really hope this does inspire bloodstained men to talk to us so that we can show everyone. They will understand, and we can show everyone that we're not against them and we don't have a grudge with them. We just want to make the movement better. You know, that's let's see. So yeah, regarding Maine, it said the ball was definitely dropped on Maine with Anthony Squadro's effort when he was in that, doing that during his efforts, his campaign. it says a lot of money backing up other movements. Activism has nothing compared to everyone else's. Unfortunately, there's other activist movements get a lot more funding.
Oh, wait, which
yeah.
ones? Which ones?
Well, they didn't list other movements. They just said they do.
Wait, Bloodstained Men? Because Bloodstained Men gets like one of the most funding.
Yeah, no, they were saying that other movements, different ones, get more funding.
Oh, okay. I about to say.
There's a lot of money backing up those movements now, but that was not always the case. Marriage equality, for example, did not happen out of nowhere. Okay. I think Potts makes great points about coordination and cooperating among the various groups.
Okay. I have live stream up now. I can definitely see the chats now. I am on the computer side.
Okay, courageous. Yeah, so we go with back. Still with Patricia's comments. He said that Hoodie says by nature said he agrees. The brother case courageous as she is too. Saying Potts is trying to use his financial and analytical skills to help encourage activists to step up their game.
Yeah, because like once again, like finances is a problem. So like I can help finances, and I can that's why the e-commerce and CareBus thing is a thing. So we can go ahead and start putting money to work with Bloodstained Men if they started working with us.
Yeah, the CareBus and the e-commerce stuff at the eBay, Amazon store, all that was really good.
Oh, also coffee donations are getting matched by double. I mean, quick plug, shameless plug there, but yeah.
Right, yeah, that goes till December, right? Yeah, that's the deadline.
Yes.
But yeah, all those things would be great. And what I think what Posh should do is we should find a way to come up with, I guess, something to say what would be the best way to spend funding in tactics. Is the Billboard's working out great, the tour's working all that great. Where is it at the time and the money should be focused? So she says that whoever the cartoon character is out of line. Doesn't deserve to criticize people who are actually doing real work on the streets.
Yep,
yeah. I mean, she knows you're not out there. But would you like to respond?
There. We literally just sent Scott out there. What do you mean?
Well, you had me out there.
Okay. Videos?
Okay, you had me out there, but I mean, she knows that. I mean, that's not. I guess that's not what we do usually.
We actually had two people out there, low key. We had two, but the other guy didn't record anything.
No,
he didn't. He got scared. Okay. He got scared.
That's not good. Okay, well,
scary.
Maybe he'll just talk.
It's scary
about
to
it.
run up to people you don't know and be like, "I'm recording you."
But we did. Well, maybe he doesn't know.
Oh, you did. Well, yeah, you definitely did. Yeah, he did not.
But at least he could say he's from an activist group. Just say that we may be strangers, but we're on the same team here.
Yeah, I know. And they're gonna be like, "Nope, I don't know who you are. Get out of here, kid."
Yeah. But no, is there something you'd want to say? I could message her. I'd wanted to get her opinion back on this if she's got interest.
Yeah, I want to interview with Patricia. I'd love to interview Patricia. Let's go. Let's do an interview with Patricia. Yeah.
You want to read off 44?
Yeah. So I think for
Buick,
455 Buick.
I think, let's see what he's saying.
Protest is part of the whole. He's talking about social media.
On social media. Reach can't be underestimated.
Yeah, and I think that's true. That is true that the social media cannot be underestimated. But once again, then why would you deny social media outreach? If a group comes to you and says, "Hey, let's do an interview real quick," it's gonna be on POTS or it's gonna be on I don't know any other channel. I love Intactivism or I hate Intactivism.org, whatever it is. Why would you then not accept that reach? So I think we're just trying to expand their social media outreach. And then
we do want to reach different groups of people, that they wouldn't otherwise. Oh, hey, so how would you like to answer the question of why you're a VTuber, why you don't show your face? I know you say, well, there's a lot of flesh tubers out there.
Yeah, so,
but okay. It's being asked.
Okay, so there's lots of reasons. So first reason is that pods, right? So we are, so as a VTuber, it's very easy to like just change out like voice actors, because eventually I'm gonna get old, I'm gonna retire, right? And also this reaches the younger generation. Because look at Bloodstained Men. They got old. When they were younger, they were probably a lot more successful because they were younger, right? And people are like, oh, I can relate to this young person a little bit more, right? And I mean, I don't know. Bloodstained Men kind of got more and more outlandish with the uniforms, you know, a little less relatable.
Got a little weirder.
Yeah, they
Okay,
got
yeah.
a lot weirder pretty quickly. You know, and they just kind of just dove into it. But like Cockfight, they get a lot of engagement. But the thing is with Cockfight is that Brett is relatively young, relatively. He's like 40 though. So he's in 10 years, he's going to be 50. He's going to get older, and that's a problem, right? With Potts, I'm forever 22. So the younger crowd they're going to be like, "Yo, guess what? I love Potts. He's young. He gets it. He's hip, you know?" So that's one reason, right? So we don't have the age factor. Two is that a lot of times there are people in movements that they end up doing something horrific. Okay, like let's say something happens to a person. Like let's pretend the voice actor of Potts got arrested for whatever reason. Okay, let's say Potts was, I don't know, jaywalking or something, and I don't know, I caused a car wreck and killed people, whatever. Well, that would make things look horrible for the company, right? But you don't know the voice actor, so you have no idea. So that's fine. So the channel keeps going. But if you're a flesh tuber and let's say another person that you see did something crazy and it was something so unrelated that still causes negative PR, right? So we don't have that issue. Another thing that I like VTubing is I don't have to worry about how I look. I don't have to worry about getting ready. I can just pump out videos way easier. 3, you can do a lot of things as a VTuber that you couldn't do as a flesh tuber, right? Like all like the backflips that I do and animations I think are really cool in the news. So there's just so many different aspects of VTubing that let you do things that you can't do as flesh tubing. And granted, there are pros and cons, right? So of course you're like, well, you can't hold a sign and protest. Okay, you're right. I mean, but we can. We have flesh tubers. Like we have flesh people that go out. And Scott, did you hold a sign when you were out there?
For a little while.
Oh yeah. See, look at that. He held a sign, guys. Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah.
So,
At the convention for a little bit, I did.
Yeah.
That's
so,
cool.
Even if it was just for 5 minutes, right? So it's just crazy that we're like almost like a hybrid. Because like, what do you do with these people's faces? Like, do you take screenshots of Julia's and Scott's faces and hang them up on your wall? Are you like, oh, I love skin. Gosh, that's fantastic. Oh, yes. Like, you're so weird. Like, it's just weird that people just, I don't know, like have this bizarre, like, I don't know. I don't want to say flesh fetish, but I don't know, I guess. Because it's weird. Because like, I don't know. Am I making sense? Am I crazy?
You foreskin fetish.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, that is true. Oh my goodness. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting that, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are learning to trust Potts, and also I feel like Potts just does intactivism, right? He just does intactivism, like. So people can live other lives, you know? People just don't want to they don't want to be known as that intactivist dude. And that's why we get so many people who volunteer, because they don't want to just be known as the foreskin guy or that foreskin fetish person or whatever, you know? So they can go ahead and separate. They can work for Potts, and then they can go home, right? And be like, time for me to unwind and relax, you know? So I think it provides a lot of new opportunities for people as well. Is that like enough reasons? I think I listed like 6.
Yes.
Yes, okay, because I made a video about this. Oh my goodness. And once again, having a VTuber in your movement is a good thing. That means your movement is doing good. Like, once again, we covered this, like, financials have it, men's rights have it. Like, when you have a VTuber, you're doing good in your movement. So this is like a good sign for the most part. Yeah. But anyways, continuing on in the comments, it says, Buick said, if Intactivists could get along, this would work a lot better than it is. 1,000,000%. I agree with you, Buick. Staying out of other issues which only serve to divide us. Absolutely! Dude, there's so many times people talk about other issues, and it's so crazy. I don't know why. It's just a thing they like to do. I've had this talk before. Like, I don't care what you believe as long as you're an activist. Like, I am very extreme on that opinion. Like, you know, like, because at the end of the day, as long as you're focusing on intactivism, like, I don't care. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say anything too crazy, because if I say something like, if you're microwaving kittens in your microwave, like, I don't care, just be an intactivist, people are gonna, like, clip it. Oh my gosh, Potts is horrible. Look at him, he said it, he's the worst. Obviously I care a little bit, but but that's just gonna divide you, because then you're like, oh, Potts is against eating meat because he has no issue, like, microwaving cheeseburgers or whatever, so you can microwave a cow but not a kitten. Like, okay, sorry. I don't know, like, I don't care. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. How do you think about this, Julia?
I agree. I think that the focus is on, it's good that you exist, and that there's a presence, and a YouTube presence, and that you make that happen. That's great.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, Scott, you're gonna say something?
But no, it's just we don't want they don't want to look divisive or to be anything like that.
Okay, that was kind of quiet, but yeah, you say we don't want to look divisive.
Right. We're not trying to cause that. We're not trying to be that way.
Yeah, like, we weren't going that route. Like, 6 months, like, into Potts, we were like, oh, everybody, look how great we're doing, because we're bringing in, like, the other people and other groups, like the financial, the VTubing. We were bringing in people from the psychology. Yeah. We were trying to uplift intactivism. And then intactivists were like, no, we hate these other topics. We don't like them. They're not real intactivists. They're fake. And it's like, all right, that's it. Gloves are coming off. That's it. Everybody get it. Okay, financial people, this isn't for you. VTubers, not for you. Everybody but intactivists. All right, that's it. Gloves are coming off. That's kind of what ended up happening. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. We called fake. It's not nice. Yeah. But yeah, we don't want to focus on other things people disagreed on, because it can hurt. Or, make people dislike each other. We're not doing that. But yeah, we did get harshly criticized. It's strict, or I guess you could make videos, the comments reply to that, and it needed to be done. I hope that we can work past it to see that, okay, it was out there, it was dealt with, and now let's move on to the team.
I'm still waiting for a response for all the people that come after us. But yeah, I don't know. PowerShot says, what can intactivists model or adapt from other movements like LGBTQ plus rights and the anti-abortion movement? Not saying I agree with the latter, but hard to argue with their results. That's a great question. What can intactivists model? Well, they can stop infighting, for number one. 2, they can get funding. That would be great. I mean, dude, we have models and things that these groups don't even have. Like, for instance, like, none of them are marching in uniforms. All right, they're not doing it. They're relatable. Like, you can look at somebody who is in the anti-abortion or pro-abortion, pro-life, whatever you call it, and you can be like, you're my neighbor. I can see myself having a beer with you or drinking coffee with you. I cannot see myself. Well, most people cannot see themselves having a beer with somebody that's in an all-white uniform with a blood stain on their crotch. Like I cannot imagine that.
Yeah. We
Well,
always when your job, when your mission is to inform the public, you need to look very approachable. You want people to see you and go, okay, he's got on the sign, he's got a message, he's standing up for a cause, and he looks like somebody I could walk right up to and talk, and it won't get weird, and he won't get aggressive. We can just have a polite conversation, and I can get some answers.
Yeah.
And the blood stain, I don't think it does that. I think it's not helping there at all. I think that's good for that.
yeah. So I do think that's one thing we can do, and just like work with each other, because LGBTQ plus they work with the LGB they work with each other for sure. The T part, I know there's some fighting going on with them, but the LGB, the majority, like 95%, they all work together. The anti-abortion movement, the pro-life movement, they all work together. They all have something that puts them together, something greater than themselves. The issue is with intactivism, a lot of intactivists, they do not act their cause. And I've said this before, they don't act their cause. Like, does your cause really matter? And once you start acting your cause, you're going to start seeing results. But they put that aside for animal rights or LGBTQ plus or anything else, so it's almost like it takes a backseat.
I think the primary difference, though, is that this issue of circumcision is so close to home. It directly impacts you as a man. It directly impacts you if you're a parent. It directly impacts you if your partner is circumcised. It directly impacts you if you work in a hospital, or so many people have been impacted, and in a very emotionally gut-wrenching way, whereas if you're the only people who would have been affected by, say, abortion, it would be the anyone who's been pregnant and who may have had an abortion, or may have been thinking of that,
or can have kids.
Yeah, exactly. Or something with the LGBTQ, that only would impact people who are LGBTQ, and everybody's supportive of them, you could be LGBTQ, sure, great, but it's not as, it doesn't hit home in quite the same way, I think,
Okay.
with this, yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. I appreciate that outlook on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see here. It says I'm trying to see if there's anything else. There's lots of money backing up the other movements, and Tactivism has nothing compared to everyone else, unfortunately. Now, I have done an article saying that Intactivist has slept on $500,000, I believe, and that's just because we're not working together. If we work together, we would have a lot more money backing us up, backing up the entire Intactivist movement. So the Intactivist movement is sleeping on a lot of money, and it's not necessarily their fault. They just don't know. Like, they just do not know what they're doing, I think, unfortunately. And I mean, Potts barely knows what he is doing, and our whole team barely knows what we're doing. Even though we've been in the movement for over like 10 years, like if you combine all of us, like 20 years. And just because we don't have good training in intactivism, it's kind of a free-for-all. And I think that's a issue we have to deal with. And intactivism is ironically very ignorant. Ironically. You would think we'd be very educated, but we are not very educated. I don't know if you guys disagree with that. You guys can definitely let me know. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think the reason is because some of the members are well educated on foreskin and the firm, right? And they think of cutting it off, but they think that's enough. And that's where their lack of education comes in. They're not educated on effective ways to talk to people, their effective methods to get the message out to the public. so they're not effective communicators. They learned some information and thought that's all of it. They just can tell people, and their way is going to work without understanding, where to meet the people on this matter, what to tell them exactly to get them to kind of understand. That the doctor didn't know most times. Sometimes they do, and they do it anyway. That is a hard one to convince people of. And then, there's the people who you can convince us to do with it anyway, because I guess they want to conform, or they don't want to realize they were wrong when they already done it, or whatever. There's the ones that you can't win them all over. You just have to accept that too.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a balancing act for sure, and I don't know. We just need bigger meetings. I feel like we need more meetings, more cohesion, and then the money will come in once you see progress. The issue is the intactivists, like, people are seeing the intactivist movement, and yes, they're an intactivist, but they're looking at the intactivism movement, like the people are, and they're like, why would I give my money to this? Why would I give my money, my hard-earned money, to this group when some groups can't even get a website up, me included, but whatever. Why, like, it's a lot to ask for people's money, and there are people who are very generous who are like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and give you money, and that's awesome. But it's just, there needs to be results, and that's kind of what POTS is trying to do. I know Unaltered is also trying to do that as well. So it's one of those things where it's a balancing act, and it's just education. And once we get education going, I think it's because we need to educate ourselves first, because we don't know what we don't know as of right now, and that I think is a big problem in my eyes, because I think intactivists feel like they know everything. A lot of intactivists are like, oh, I know everything, or they're very scared and timid. And if you go into the world with I'm right, you're wrong all the time, no one's going to listen to you. And that's why, like, POTS is wrong. Like, I've admitted I've been wrong before. That's okay. I mean, we get a lot of information and we try to be right, but we're people, right? So, but other intactivist organizations, I don't think you're going to get that. I think they're going to spin everything as good as possible. I don't know if people like that. I don't know. Does that make sense to everybody? I don't know. That does.
Yes.
And then we have the ball was absolutely dropped in Maine. We must do better. I agree with the ball being dropped in Maine. I know Intaction made a happy-go-lucky video. I'm going to go make a response video. I think the ball was dropped, and I do not think it was Anthony's fault. I think it was the movement's fault in general. Because where do we go from Maine? Like, where else do we go? We failed in Maine. Where do we go? Anybody have any intel?
Like, where else could intactivism has done better? Is that what you mean?
No, like, where do you go? Like, okay, where do we change bills to be like, okay, no more funding for circumcision because we failed in Maine?
Like, where else could it be tried? In any other state?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe? Because Maine is relatively small. It's not a big state. It's a relatively small state. It's perfect. Like, they were kind of on the fence already. And I think we had about 50% of intactivists come in, and we were 4 votes off. And, like, this was almost, it felt like we were at full power. Almost felt like we were at full power, but we weren't all there. Like, bloodstained men just, I don't know what they were doing. And I mean, I know Gaudaf was virtue signaling as hard as they could in their back office with that letter. They made a whole letter. So I don't know. I feel like some groups tried really hard while other groups that we needed were not there. And I do think the ball was dropped in Maine. And I think it's a self-defeating attitude. I think a lot of intactivists think, oh, well, we're never going to change, so we're not going to try. You know? Do you guys get that when you talk to intactivists?
It's definitely, it is very discouraging, you know. you try something and it just doesn't work out, and you put a lot of effort into it, and it didn't go the way you hoped it would have gone. It's definitely it's not an easy thing to be an intactivist. It's very, very tough.
Yeah.
But if we have a support group support system, then that makes it a lot easier. So
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's wild. I don't know how we're going to fix that. I mean, it's a slow thing. I think we're growing, and I think that we're gonna slowly start getting more followers. Like once again, I think we're getting we're growing relatively fast compared to other YouTubers in the intactivism movement. So I do think that we do have a good chance that we can be very powerful and very helpful for the movement once we get everyone on the same side. But we just need to get people to understand, like, hey, look, we're not going to say everything good about you guys. Like, we're going to be like, wow, Intaction could do better, Bloodstained Men could do better, but they're also doing good, or you know what I mean. So it's a nobody else is willing to do that. Nobody else is willing to be like, all right, wow, Brahim, you suck, right? No one else is willing to say that. Like, y'all need to fix all these things. Everybody else is like, oh, Brahim, yeah, lovely group. I love that group. Please don't cancel me. You know, and it's just wild. I think, I don't know. And hopefully we can go ahead and make things better and not be, I don't know. Would you guys say that the intactivism movement is almost I don't want to call it fake, but almost, like, I feel like it's a lot of like hidden things that people don't see, like a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of secret meetings, and it's like they're sabotaging themselves. They sabotage themselves, and then they're like, oh, how are we not working? I do not think, like, the LGBT, I don't think they're trying to sabotage themselves. I don't think the abortion movement, the anti-abortion movement, the pro-life movement, I don't think they're trying to sabotage themselves. I think with intactivism, we're like, there's different groups that are sabotaging themselves. Like, look at how many groups talk bad about Prevail of the System. Like, Brother K essentially told Scott, like, hey, I don't want to do an interview with this group. Like, I will interview anybody else or other people, but I'm not going to help out this group. Like, that is bad cohesion, you know? It's wild. And people want to talk about, once again, it's like, oh, well, the money, it's like the money problem. Like, we don't have enough money. Yeah, we're working on that. Like, you know, we're trying to work with groups. But, like, when we gave out contracts being like, hey, promote us, we'll give you like $300, really easy stuff here, they're like, no. So I think it goes back to the lack of cohesion. And just, like, the thing is the power comes from the individuals. Like, I guarantee you that if all 338 subscribers that we have at POTS, if they went and emailed Bloodstained Men on Facebook and email and Twitter and said, hey, you need to start working with people and you need to stop talking bad about all these groups, they're going to stop immediately. You know, they're going to be like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people upset. So I feel like a lot of people rely on big groups, but POTS is not a group per se. It's just you guys. It's all what we are. Like, I don't know. Like, does that make sense? Am I going on a tangent?
yeah, I mean, it's a different type. Like you said, it's a cyber group. You know, it's not a me in person group, but it's still a group. You know, and we're now joined. We've collaborated together today. You know, and so we are, you know, a group. So, but I think that comparing, I mean, it's good to compare to other organizations, but you have to bear in mind is that, like, I think intactivism is still very much in its infancy. You know, it's going to grow, but it's going to, you know, over time. But I think that, you know, it's still warming up. You know, I mean, compared to other groups,
I mean, there was a time, if you look at the history of pretty much a lot of these social groups, social movements, they started out small and then they gradually, and they had their own problems, I'm sure, and then they gradually became more unified and more um, effective in their pursuit
So are you talking
pursuits.
about intactivism in America, or are you talking about intactivism in like Europe?
In America, I don't really know much about overseas, intactivism.
Okay.
I don't really,
Because I
I don't,
think
I'm
overseas is
not,
doing much better. I think overseas they're crushing it. Overseas, compared to America, they're light years ahead of us. Um, and
Well,
I
yeah, I think rates in Europe were already lower. People, I think, I don't know, just didn't want to over there as much. Well, rates were lower in Europe. I'm not exactly sure why.
well, that's because they don't fund
Yeah,
it.
it'd be
They
good.
don't fund it. They say it's needless. You don't need to do it. Um,
Right. What's getting the people there to have that attitude, and why are we not in America? Let's
uh,
figure that out.
I mean, if I had to guess, um, I'm sure that it has to do with the fact that Medicaid doesn't cover it, and the fact that a lot of groups in like 15 square inch and um, uh, Intact Australia and the Darwin Institute, they work together. They don't fight. They're like, hey, let's go and get this done, and it's not divided like in America. It's a very different system in America because for some reason there's a lot more skepticism, like because a lot of groups we've asked before, like to do interviews. We've asked Bloodstained Men, we've asked Berheem, we've asked um, Intaction to do interviews. They're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, why are you skeptical? But we can go to these other groups like Darwin Institute, Intact Australia, them, and be like, hey, you want to do an interview? They're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like not a problem. And
Well,
I wonder why that is. I just think it's in America, I think you're taught to watch your back. Like, oh, someone's out to get you. There's so many scammers. Um, and we're taught to not trust anybody. While maybe in Europe it's not so badly like that, and in or in Australia, I'm not sure. I'm guessing.
no, we build alliances with those guys in other countries, and I hope that helps the movement here in America. And maybe it will get other American intactivist groups to build alliance with those intactivist groups in other countries as well. And then maybe that helps a lot here.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, 455 Buick says Cockfight needs to get off the couch. I think he's talking about Cockfight needing a protest. I also think that Cockfight needs to do some cockfighting and protesting, going to jam.
Yeah.
Um, I
What
don't
was
know.
it?
Julia, what do you think about Cockfight? And yeah.
yeah, I mean, any way to to reach the younger crew, and it puts on like a bit of a humorous spin on. Like I always like,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
it makes it a more serious topic.
We're named for a vegan to go by, though. Someone who would definitely disapprove of animal cruelty.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Brett said they're doing a little rebranding now. I guess that's with the logo, because he sent me some to vote on which ones I like the most.
Yeah.
So could be fun with that. And they're working to outfit our fighters around the country.
What does that
Does that mean
mean?
does that mean they got enough people all over the country now? Does that mean they got cockfight members all over in many different states? Or does that mean that they're going to travel all over the country? And they're going to need more funding for that.
I mean, they got $5,000, so I mean that's gonna get you to
Yeah,
3
you get
states.
that 5K, yeah.
You're gonna go from Kansas to like I don't know. I
Missouri.
suck at geography, so I shouldn't say anything.
And then Nebraska, maybe, you know.
Yeah, Nebraska. There you go.
Maybe they'll go south.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make it to Oklahoma somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. Oklahoma. There you go. Big
Yeah.
demand there. Yeah, I don't know. I think Cockfight is. They have great potential, and they got the funding. They got the gas for it now.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. But Cockfight's also been what 5 years old, right?
I don't know. They said they're planning something. I don't know how long they've been going. They said they're planning something ambitious for the college football season.
All right,
and
great.
He said he'll tell me when he figures it out, and they'll announce the schedule. It would be better, if Cockfight talked to Potts on a regular basis, kept us in the loop.
That would be fantastic.
I don't know if Brett feels strange or suspicious about talking about us, doesn't feel comfortable talking to Potts, or he doesn't care, or he doesn't understand the possible help that it can provide. How it would boost Cockfight to be more, I guess, be frequently contacting Potts. But that's the way I think we need him to do. And I would like to know how far they are going to and travel, and if they're more effective, if they're doing better than bloodstained men, that then they really need to get going a lot more, or have.
Yeah. Well, do they
other
even
people
say
inspired
that they're
by it.
better or more effective? I don't know if they even say that.
They never said that. I don't think I've heard Brett ever say that, but the different groups and some of our members, some of our people call in like to say, "Oh, Cockfight's like that party bus. Everybody wants to jump in on them. They're just having such a good time." That's not. So looks like it's better. Looks like if that's the better group to be in, and it's because they're reaching the people better, and they're doing that by having just a more fun time because they go to an event that's fun, and they try to. It's a serious matter, but they try to be very lighthearted about it. But it gets people to listen.
Yeah.
Then I think that is better than standing around outside at an intersection with a sign.
No, I understand that.
I think I may have a better time. I know they bring beer with the people. That sounds like fun.
I just feel like that's so much energy. Like I feel like that's like because Brett is like he's pushing 40, right? Maybe even past that now.
Yeah.
I think it's past 40 now. Like when he turns 50, do you really think he wants to be partying with the younger crowd and stuff? Like I don't know if anyone here is around 50, but like would you want to go to like I just thinking as like a 50-year-old. Even me now. Like I'm 22. I don't know if I want to go to college games and party it up, and like that just doesn't seem like my cup of tea. So I feel like that would be I don't know. Like that's just me. Like just longevity of Cockfight is you need to find people who want to do that, and then you need to find people who want to do that for a long time that remains relatable.
It is, and you got to recruit new members, and it's usually going to be on. I would say. A good way to accomplish it is you get the people you're beating at these college sports and ask them if they want to join up. To do just like, oh yeah, sign up on the website, or give us your name, your phone number, and your email.
Well,
or have pass cards out for the
how many people he has now? Because if Brett is planning like
I don't know,
world domination Cockfight or whatever, hopefully he has at least 30 people.
Yeah, I doubt it. He hasn't told me those things anyways.
Yeah.
Or someone, they could get business cards to go to the website, and then they could just send us a message from here, or here's our emails. Yeah. That'd be helpful.
Julia, have you ever went to a Cockfight jam?
No, but it sounds like fun. I never have.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No,
I know
not.
you've done like everything. Like you've done everything.
No,
once.
Brett, when he came over to California, I haven't done any. I haven't seen a Cockfight
Well, I think they're rare. Like cockfight jams are so rare. Like they don't happen as much as bloodstained mentoring. It's only like what twice. Well, it's once a week. They do small little protests. They used to, but it would only be in Kansas, and then they would do like a big one once every 6 months. But they haven't done any small ones recently. It's been like 6 months since they did anything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong about the 6 month thing. I don't have the stuff on me right now. But I will say this, guys. I appreciate you all coming out. We got 5 minutes left before I have to go. I have a very important thing to do. And I've already asked the 2 other special guests that were going to come to see if they wanted to come. And one is sick. Aww, I hope he gets better. Be like, yeah, I know. I hope he gets better too. Yeah. So he's sick, and the other person is just unreliable. So that's just his fault. So yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna check the chat one more time and see.
It was good. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Buick liked us. Buick.
Yeah. Thank you, Buick.
Buick spread the word. Pots must grow. That's nice. I like that.
And J&J said Potts is awesome. Thank you. Yes. We try to be. Yeah. Yeah, Buick says there's no biased organization lying to the public in the EU. I don't know why we can't just use what like EU doctors say to the Americans. Like the Americans do not trust their medical system like as much as they used to. Well, I feel like this is a layup for
this
like,
is good though that they're not trusting that. Yeah, that's layup. I mean, it's going to help us, right? Yeah.
No, it should be easy. It should be a layup. Like this should be like an easy 2-pointer. Like, oh, you don't trust the medical society because they lied to you so much? Okay. Well, check this one out. Let me run this by you real quick. Hey, you know, chopping off your penis is not healthy. What? That's crazy. Like that should be so easy to tell people.
Yeah, I think the vaccines is what really got people suspicious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's other things too. I mean, I know some people have questioned other medical procedures, but we're not gonna get into them.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's probably people, someone who died in a hospital, and they realized they could have lived, but the doctors didn't do certain things.
Or like the opium epidemic, Oh, wait, that's bad for me? I shouldn't be taking that? That's killing people? Oh, you knew for 10 years? Oh, wow. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah. I'm not going to get into that too much, though.
How addictive they were and...
Yeah. But let me see. Oh, PowerShot, so thank you for doing this. Thank you, PowerShot, for commenting. I appreciate that. Appreciate everyone who came through. Even Linda Misa. Happy to hear from your perspectives. Lazarus Bell, bro. Lazarus Bell is here. Oh my goodness, let's go. Lazarus Bell. Oh my goodness, he's the author.
Right at the end. Well, these people commenting, they could, could they get on Discord to talk with us? Wouldn't that be nice
That is true. Well, I like. I mean, the chat's fine. We just didn't have it up. I didn't have it up because I thought we had other people to cover it. That was my bad.
But up.
Miscommunication.
Oh yeah, the chat. But can't they get into?
Oh yeah, join our Discord. Hey, Lazarus Bell.
Yeah, Discord,
if you want to join our Discord, you definitely can. Yeah, just.
Who was getting it? Wasn't going to get Saturn or David here, right?
Saturn was we got a couple people that were supposed to come, but they didn't show up. But Julia though is our freaking rock though. Julia is like, I'm gonna show up. Give amazing perspective.
I enjoyed it.
What he's got Zazzle store? What's his group called?
Oh, Breaking the Cut.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, he sells Potts t-shirts, and Potts doesn't make any money off of it. I'm just so nice. Yeah.
We needed the cut breaker to join us, and I wanted NLI. I wanted next little tactic.
Okay, okay. Let's relax on NLI there. Okay.
And maybe Carter.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Oh, okay, and my chat's gone. I don't know where chat's at. Okay, so anyways, guys, thank you for coming out. It was fantastic. Thank you, Julia.
I came late, but Check out the Discord. That's what Lazarus Bell said.
What? What's got?
Lazarus Bell said I came late, but I'll check out the Discord.
Okay, awesome. Yes, let's go. Okay, any final words, Julia, for anybody else?
I know this was good. I think it was a good session. I think we've covered quite a bit of ground. I like it if you were, maybe hopefully you would be able to interview Patricia. I read her book. It was really great. I liked her.
Yo, let's go. She made a book. I'm so excited. Dude, I like Patricia. I like people who can like stand up and be like, Potts, you suck. Be like, great, I love you. Let's do an interview. Like, I want somebody to go ahead and actually go and roast Potts on an interview. I think that'd be very eye-opening for me, so I can learn, and so they can go and also learn, hopefully. So it can be mutually learning.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. All right, Scott, any last words?
Yeah, I would like to get some more interviews. Definitely Patricia B. And interesting person, lady to speak to. So yeah, and
Absolutely. That's it. Okay. Yep. Also, guys, yeah. So next season we're gonna do new interviews in like 2 months. We should be having Eric Klopper. 80% chance Eric Klopper's coming on season 2.
I want to. If you can get Eric to do an interview, then ask him to do a live stream so I can talk to him too.
What in the world? No, we don't do that. We do recordings. We do live stream every now and then. Okay, like live streams are stressful. Okay, do you know how stressful live streams are? So stressful.
I'm not stressed, but anyhow,
I'm the one doing all the computing and stuff, and like I'm afraid this thing's gonna glitch.
But you're doing a good.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
I would like it though. I mean, these people comment if they would go on to Discord and join us, and they could talk. Because it would be easier to interact with them when we talk
Just
if
ask
they were
questions because we have a question for interviewers. For interviewers, we have a
I mean, if they're listening to us, I can ask questions and they can type things too. But it'd be nice. I mean, and also it'd just be easier for them to talk. They could throw in their thoughts, instead of just type it all. That'd be cool.
Well, they can pre-type it. They can pre-type and think about it before the interview gets started, versus like in the heat of it. Because then I have to pay attention to chat and pay attention to Eric Klopper, and then pay attention to the lag and everything else, and that is a lot of things. And yeah, you're expecting a lot of thoughts.
Stress you out.
Okay, you know what?
I would.
So Scott is now interviewing Eric Klopper. It is going to be a Scott live stream with Eric Klopper. He's going to do it on his computer. He has it. I believe in you.
I don't know. Okay, I guess. Well, let's see. The Java Doggy said maybe in the European Union, the groups are formed by coalitions versus the United States. Strong personalities form the groups, so more protective.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Java Doggy. I appreciate everybody who showed up. I appreciate everyone who commented, and hopefully people can share this video and stuff. And who just joined? You've got to be kidding me. Oh my goodness.
Wait, Ladori's here. Lador.
Yo, let's go. Why is this a thing? Hello. Wait, I'm gonna go and alt this here. Hey, what's up?
Ladori's muted now.
No, don't mute. Don't mute Ladori.
Okay, there.
All right, Ladori.
Thank you for being patient with me. I am very sick, so I literally just woke up.
Wow. Okay. Well, don't worry. Just say what you feel, because I'll give you 2 minutes to say how you feel.
Yeah. And who we got now?
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
I haven't
just turned the camera off.
I haven't seen the.
Oh my goodness. I had this whole thing planned, guys.
I just woke up. I literally just woke up.
You just woke up? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, go make a giant speech for Unaltered right now. I know you're sick and you just woke up, but you need to make an amazing speech for Unaltered. Your future of your company depends on it. We have 20,000 people watching right now.
That's so funny.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the Intactivist movement has been around for about 50 years, and yet the current circumcision rate is still 70%.
Actually,
so
thousands of years if
I'm
you
hoping
think about like Rome. But keep going.
Yeah, historically, yeah, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm ruining the speech. I'll shut up.
Results are pretty. No, you're fine. No, I like the conversation. Yeah, so even with benefit of the doubt, the results, you know, are a little bit frustratingly um staying stagnant. So what I'm hoping to bring to the table is using data and evidence to actually reduce that percentage well below 70%. And I'm pretty confident with my background. I'm able to do that using my strong background in mathematics and the social sciences. I also have experience in activism with children's rights in general, um, specifically like ending conversion therapy. So in one of the states.
Is that it? Okay. Wow. Awesome. Well, good.
I try to keep it short. I don't want to do like a whole TED talk.
Okay, well, I was expecting you to do. I could have played some emotional music behind you, and I was expecting like, this is it, men, women, we're gonna go and gather your will and arms, and we're going to make one last push for intactivism. This is it. Join Unaltered. This is the final stand. We're gonna give it all we got. I need you to go and give me all the support and volunteers that you have, and we're gonna go and change the U.S. in 5 years or less. We got this. Unaltered for the win, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about one last push. I would certainly hope that I'm not the last the last hope for the movement.
It's okay. Potts is the last hope for the movement. It's us. Don't worry. Unaltered's just kinda is growing out of Potts. It's really weird. It's like a kind of like a interesting mitosis tumor type thing, I guess.
Mitosis tumor?
Yeah, Potts is like splitting.
I didn't realize that was malignant.
Oh yeah. But it's a good thing. It's like a good tumor though. It's one that you want. What are the good tumors?
Bro, what?
Hey, you may want to know Lazarus Bell said this: follow the money. Male foreskin fibroblasts are lucrative sources for biotech research and cosmetic products.
Absolutely. And that's why they keep pushing it, supposedly. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good input there. But yeah, so anyways, I am glad that Ladori came and showed his face, kind of his face. So is that your official avatar now? Forever?
I don't know if it's official. It's just my Discord avatar. I would show my face, but
you change your avatar to like an altered symbol.
Oh, I could do that. But this is just Discord, so I didn't think about that.
You're on live stream right now. This is a YouTube. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, but this is just my Discord account joining your live stream, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, normally I would show my face, but I'm quite unwell, so I don't think that would be very, very, appealing to see, so.
I would be very appealed. I would be quite appealed for it. But yes, it's okay. That's why I'm a VTuber. So whenever I'm sick and I look horrible, I can just be like, haha, I look fantastic. See, look at me, guys. See, you messed up. You should have made a VTuber.
Yeah, I should have made a cute cartoon instead.
You should have. Oh my goodness. You could have been more like Julia. Where did you even get your avatar from? Oh, she muted. All right. Well, guys. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go hang up. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna end stream. Thank